Welcome to the stream, guys. We're fine. Oh dear, that's very loud, isn't it? I can't do that. Hang on 1 second. There we go. That should be better. No, it shouldn't. Hang on. Right then, hopefully we're ready to get going. Oh, blimey, we're still ready to get going then. Sorry about that. We had a bit of a delay there because, well, I couldn't be bothered to start the stream either because why should I be bothered when the gold drivers can't be bothered either? But there we go. We're ready to get going, I think, finally. Bloody hell, it's taken a while, hasn't it? But we are ready to get ourselves started for the final race of the season. We are hopefully going to get ourselves underway at some point today. Fingers crossed we can get the race done and dusted before midnight tonight. But yeah, fingers crossed it won't take that long. But nonetheless, yeah, unfortunately, the people who are disappointed that Ginger Rage isn't here, unfortunately, it's me. I'm just as disappointed in being here as well, don't you worry. So there we go. We are underway finally for Abu Dhabi. We can get ourselves ready to get going for the final race of the season. And thank goodness it is done and dusted after this one, isn't it? I think everyone's very pleased, and especially myself, having to commentate on this one. So, yeah, good stuff indeed. Right, we're underway for qualifying one. Good stuff. Right, let's get cracking. German's happy. Good stuff indeed. Somebody's happy. I'm not very happy because I have to sit in this box and wait for people to drive around this track. But yeah, good luck because I am not in the mood today. But let's have some good racing, hopefully. We'll never know. We'll find somebody to put some the spotlight on, and they can cheer us along as we get ourselves underway for the start of this Grand Prix. Anyone want to swap a caravan for racing? Says Farf. That's hilarious from Farf in the comment section. Really good one, that. So let's get started. Hopefully some more people join as well. We've got a couple of people who haven't bothered to make it, unfortunately. So hopefully they get themselves into the lobby before the end of qualifying. Hopefully before the end of qualifying one. Because then we can get ourselves started for the actual session itself. Nobody's coming out on the track just yet. Of course, the championship is wrapped up here in gold. The drivers have been wrapped up by Troy, who did manage to get himself in the session finally. So that is good news for the championship winner. Of course, the champion here for gold, season 8. Fantastic stuff indeed from Troy. I think he wrapped up in Portugal, so 2 rounds ago now, which is very good stuff indeed from the AlphaTauri driver. Of course, the AlphaTauri are the constructors champions as well in gold, which is fantastic news indeed. And they wrapped that up. I think it was even earlier. I think it was Brazil. They wrapped that championship up, which is very good stuff indeed from the AlphaTauri drivers. We've got, I think it's 3 AlphaTauri champions, or AlphaTauri constructor champions, that is, across the 4 divisions there in gold, silver, and in 100% league, which is fantastic stuff indeed there for the AlphaTauri drivers. The first time the AlphaTauri has been a champion, a constructors champion, that is in ALR. Which is great news. But there we go then. So unfortunately, I think it's the Alpine in bronze who clinched the other constructors title. So that's the only one you're missing, unfortunately. But there we go. We have got outlaps there for DJ, who's onto the track there. His teammate, no, it's not a teammate, it's an Alpine itself of Indigo on the track as well. So there we go. We've got ourselves underway finally for the qualifying session. We're only 10 minutes late and we're ready to get going now for ALR Gold, the final race of the season here in Season 8. Of course, F122 will be in the bin after this race. I think for a lot of the drivers, they'll be literally in the bin as well. I think they'll be uninstalling it the minute the race has finished. But there we go then. So I know that German's going to be doing that. And a few others, I think, I would imagine as well. Of course, hopefully some of them keep it until Wednesday for the 100% league. But there we go. If they want to do that, that is their prerogative, of course. But there we go. We'll have to chat about that later on in the session. A serious Rushman there in P1 at the moment is too scared of his lofty heights there and has retired in the pit lane. So he's not going to be taking part in the qualifying session, unfortunately, for the Mushroom. But DJ, of course, reserving tonight in place of myself because I'm having to do the commentary. So hopefully he does a good job. Hopefully he does a better job than I would. And I'm pretty sure he will do as well, which is good news indeed. Because, like I said, hopefully in gold next season I'll be a bit faster than I am on this game. But there we go. I've struggled on as much as I can. Here goes DJ now down to start his first flying lap, the first flying lap of the session as well here in gold. Of course, like I was saying, the final round of the season tonight, and we can then be looking back on F122 with fondness and kindness and sunshine in our eyes with the love that we have for this game. that everyone has purely enjoyed, and there has been no issues and no glitches and no problems at all with this game. It's been absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Hopefully F123 is even better, and from what I've seen, to be fair, F123 is much better than the 22 game, which is good news. But there we go then. Like I said, a few people putting the game in the bin tonight after this race, and that'll be that there for their F122 careers, I would imagine. But here comes DJ now into Sector 2. He's going purple, of course, because he is the first driver to set his lap times here as we get ourselves through Sector 3 now. The new banked curve, of course. We've had it, of course, only in one official Grand Prix, in real life, that is. But now the second time here for ALR, I believe, as we go now into the underneath the hotel section. Evening all from Serious Mushroom. Good evening to you, sir, in the Haas. I was said you are in pole position at the moment in Q1, that is, Serious Mushroom, so you're looking good indeed. Unfortunately, nobody's set a time just yet, so that is why. Yellow flags in Sector 3 at the Latifi corner. But it's not for a Williams of DJ. It's DJ up into P1 there with a 24.235 is the first time on the board there. The time to beat here in Q1 so far. Let's have a look and see what's the problem there. I think it's a problem there for a Alpine. It's an Alpine of Indigo who's had a problem at the hotel section, like I was saying. Red Bull of Sam Green there is on track, but he's just starting his out lap, starting his flying lap now. Let's have a look and see what the next drivers on track can do. Pink Eye is coming around the final corner to finish off his lap. Let's have a look and see what he can do. It's up to the line. It says 25.3. That's pretty good stuff indeed from DJ based on that time, but I think that's probably some improvements there for Pink Eye that he can make earlier on in the lap times. Right, here comes Mr. Rage around the final corner, and he's done a great job this season as Mr. Rage, one of my favourites of the season. He's done a 24.1 there to put himself on the top step, but Serious Mushroom said gold line fast. Unfortunately, been demoted now down to P5, but there you go. Yeah, Mr. Rage, want to be one of the standout drivers of the season for Gold. He's put in a shift in terms of turning up to most of the races and really put on a good performance there. And I'm my candidate for most consistent of the season, to be honest. He's put in a fantastic showing every race, and he's got some good points there for himself and the team as well for Haas. Unfortunately, when Liam was part of the team as well, it was looking like the best pairing on the grid, to be fair. They were both very consistent, but unfortunately Liam decided to drop out as well. So there we go. That's the story of Gold so far pretty much this season, but next season hopefully that will change. We'll have a bit more committed group. We'll streamline the group a bit more and make it a bit more attentive, put it that way, in terms of attendance, that is. Ace Immortals put himself up into P2 on the medium compound tyres there. He's only 10th behind the pole sitter, the pole sitter of Q1, of course, currently, but of course that can change there. He's on the medium compound tyres, which is a fantastic lap time indeed. Kamara Race has done a 24.7 there, puts himself P4. Pink Eye is doing P5. Brooksy in P6. Who was next across the line, I should say. Sam Green going a bit slowly there through the hotel section. I think he's trying to regain some ERS, some energy there, trying to get out of the way as well of the cars coming through into the penultimate corner. Goes Gurman, who's invalidated. He's on the intermediate compound tyres. I don't think he's going to be able to set a good time there on those tyres, unfortunately. Brooksy into the pit lane there after finishing off his out lap, in lap, I should say. Here comes Sam Green now to start another lap, I would imagine. I think he's he has aborted his first flying run. He's done a 2 minute, or 1 minute 1 minute 59 there. So almost a 2 minute there, I would say, which is probably not the best or the fastest lap time you could do around here. Maybe Gurman could go even faster on the intermediate compound tyres. We'll have to wait and see. But so far, so good. Ginger Rage most improved, not Ginger Rage, sorry, Mr. Rage most improved. Ginger Rage definitely not most improved. He can't even be bothered to turn up for the final race, of course. Yeah. So yeah, Mr. Rage definitely the most improved from Serious Mushroom in the comment section as well. So there we go. Good stuff indeed from the Haas, of course, supporting the Haas brothers in the team. Of course, in the Haas tonight, of course, is Serious Mushroom as well. Unfortunately, I can't remember who the other Haas driver is, unfortunately, in Gold, because they're one of the ones who doesn't turn up either. So there we go. Vintage is on track now in the AlphaTauri. Unfortunately, it's Wesley who hasn't turned up today, but to be fair for Wesley, he's pretty much turned up for every other race so far this season. So he's allowed a day off in the other AlphaTauri seat. So good stuff indeed. Vintage, of course, a very clean and consistent driver as well, and looking good in that pink helmet as well. I'm sure Serious Mushroom will comment about the pink helmet. I have spotted the helmet there. I don't usually spot the helmet, but I've spotted the helmet on this occasion. It very much stands out there in that AlphaTauri, doesn't it? But looking good indeed there for Vintage as he now comes down towards the chicane to start or finish off sector 2 now, coming up to the DRS line. Of course, 2 DRS detection zones and 2 DRS activation zones around here as well. So of course the detection zone just before the old first chicane, I suppose you could call it, in towards the beginning of sector 2 there, and then down the back straight towards the chicane, and then once again another activation zone at the exit of the chicane towards the new banked turn to finish or to start off sector 3, I should say, as well. So good stuff indeed there from Vintage. Now coming around through under the hotel, and there it is, the lovely Rolex sign there covering up the hotel as well. Around the final couple of corners there for Vintage, going a bit shallow there on the entry to the penultimate corner there, and now down towards the final corner as well on the brakes, and then getting on the power as early as possible as well up to the line. It's going to be a 26.992, puts himself P7 for the time being, ahead of Sam Green, who has come back to the pit lane now. He's not been able to get himself another time on the board there in the Red Bull. A day off, what is that? So serious rush from everyone loves a pink helmet as well. Good stuff. Yes, they do. Very much so indeed. I'm not sure that Percy's got a pink helmet. He's got a yellow helmet, but that will have to do for the time being. I think it's is a white and yellow helmet. It's trying to blend in with his Aston Martin, which is looking very nice, going round into sector 3 now. And of course, Percy there is one of the faster drivers in gold. We've seen him put some good times on the board before. Let's have a look and see what he can do there in this qualifying session, the final qualifying session there of ALR Gold Season 8. This time, this is the last time on F122 as well, as he comes round the penultimate corner now into the final corner, diving the car in, almost over the curbs on the exit, and he's gone up to P1 there with a 23.719, the first driver in the 23s, and a fantastic lap time indeed there from Percy there, looking good in pole position for Q1 at least, and that is a very fast lap time indeed. I think that's pretty much safe and sound there for Q1 for the Aston Martin. Very comfortable indeed there in that session as well. His teammate there has some room to improve. There's a few drivers here yet to set a time. Of course, Serious Mushroom there is the first of them, currently in P10. Yellow helmet should get that checked, says Serious Mushroom. Yeah, I think checking those helmets, making sure that they're the right colour, is very important. You don't want to get any infections there, but nonetheless, we'll carry on. Indigo's back out on track. Let's have a look and see how the Alpine is faring up there. He seemed to be having a few problems there on his first attempt. Now coming through under the hotel once again there into the Latifi corner, and once again he's gone round and into the wall again. I think that might be some rear wing damage there. Hopefully the garage can get that fixed before the qualifying 1 session is ended, and he's not having a good time there as he comes round into the final corner there and smashes it into the wall, and there we go. That is his qualifying done and dusted there for Indigo. Good stuff indeed. That is quite handy for the Alpine outfit. Siege is in the Alpine tonight, but he's not meant to be. Of course, he's meant to be in the Alfa Romeo that he typically races in. He usually races in. That will be Camaro's seat switched around. Should anybody get any points there for either Camaro or for Siege, they will be scoring for either the Alfa Romeo or the Alpine. So Siege was scoring for the Alfa Romeo, and Camaro was scoring for the Alpine outfit. So there we go. But Siege there is on the track as AC Walter was retired in the pit lane. His teammate of Chazza is just starting a lap as well. Right on board with Siege now as we go down towards sector 3, and getting the braking zone right as well, making sure you get the angle right as well, because it's very easy to spin the car around this banked turn now as he goes around, and he does spin the car as the other Alpine has had a smash into the wall, as we just saw the other Alpine retire. Now the second Alpine, I should say, Siege is the only one left on track, but he's just about got away with that. Otherwise, I think that could have been 2 Alpines out of the session in one go, but thankfully Siege survives. I think that we saw some suspension damage there in Monaco as he's going in neutral around the circuit now, so I'm not quite sure what the situation is there for Siege, but yeah, he's going in neutral around the circuit now, so that is not good for him. Here comes German now around the final couple of corners as well. He's going past the Alpine there, and around the final couple of final corners now as well, into the last corner as well, and up to the line. What can he do? There's a 24.3, puts himself P5 there in behind DJ Death Dragon there, and good stuff indeed. At least he's beaten his intermediate compound time, so that is not too shabby indeed. Kamara is back out on track as well. Fuel light is flashing for him. Sam Green, I think, just finishing off a lap there in P7 for the time being. I think we've just had somebody else jump up the order, but I couldn't quite tell who it was. It might have been an Alpine of Siege, just setting a time there, 2-minute time there. But like I said, the 2-minute times hopefully can be improved upon. Otherwise, they're probably not representative of what you can do around this circuit. Siege just going back out on another lap as well, it looks like. To try again. Geordie Boxdale set the fastest lap of the qualifying one, I should say, so far. Not in the race just yet, are we? Unfortunately, 23.668 there. Not just about half a tenth faster than Lucas Percy as it stands. Lucas Percy retired in the pit lane. He's done and dusted with his qualifying for now. That is. Nigel there sets a 25.1, puts himself P9 for the time being. That could be saved just about. I reckon the cut-off point is between Sam Green and Nigel for the Q2 session. Swanshanks is on track now, negotiating through the chicane as well. Yellow flags for a Ferrari who's had a problem there at the exit of the hotel complex. And unfortunately for Pink Eye, it is him who's had the problem as well. Gurman there is returning to the pit lane, I would imagine. He is back in the pits. Sam Green the same as well. We'll have a look at the other Alpine of Siege. Siege is still on a flying lap, I would imagine. It looks like he's trying still on this attempt. Anyway, as he comes around the penultimate corner now to finish off the final, well, his first flying lap in anger, that is, around the circuit. And up to the line, it's going to be a 25.1 there. Puts himself just behind Nigel there in P10. And like I said, done 2 laps on those soft compound tyres, so they might be a bit worse for wear now in this qualifying. But we'll have to wait and see if that's enough to get him through into qualifying 2. Could be worse, could be a Leicester fan, says Farf. Well, unfortunately, most of my family are from Leicester, so if there was a second team for myself, if there was a team that I didn't support before the other blue team that I support, that I'm not going to say because otherwise they'll get ridiculed. Yeah, otherwise I would be a Leicester fan as well. But yeah, unfortunately, that is that, and Leicester are out of the Premier League, which is fantastic news. But there we go. Serious Mushroom has got his camera ready apparently for when Troy comes out. Troy is on the track. Serious Mushroom, he is on his outlap now, coming down the back straight towards the chicane. Chazza is also on an outlap as well, just about to get himself sorted. Swanshanks is on the track as well. So a few drivers there just getting themselves back to the pit lane. A few of them just getting themselves out on their first outlaps as well. Vintage is on his second outlap. So he is looking to take the track there in the other AlphaTauri as well. I think Siege is just trying to get himself back to the pit lane. He's run out of fuel there. DJ's retired in the pit lane as well, so he's happy with his time. But 24.2, I think, is enough to get through here. I think the same for Gurman and potentially Kamala Racer as well. We'll have to wait and see how many drivers can improve on their times. But it is not looking too shabby for some, and unfortunately for some, they haven't got time on board just yet. Like Chazza, who just started his lap now, and Troy, who is about to begin his lap too. He needs to get himself past Siege first. Siege is having a problem. They're trying to get himself back to the pits. So that's his main worry at the moment. But I think the Alpine, they're running out of fuel there. Swanshanks has retired, I think, in the pit lane, so he's not going to be able to go out again. Unfortunately, that is him done and dusted for qualifying, so he's not going to be able to improve on P14 for the Alfa Romeo driver. I reckon Chazza could take pole, says Serious Mushrooms. Let's have a look and see what the Mercedes driver is going to be doing down the back straight. We've only got 2.5 minutes left as Pink Eye retired in the pit lane as well. He's in 11th place. That might not be safe. We'll have to wait and see. So, Chazza is on track. Let's have a look and see what the Mercedes driver can do. We can see a lot of improvement from Chazza. Of course, got his a podium in the last round in China. Very good stuff indeed from the Mercedes as well. And yeah, it just shows that Chazza there is ready to pounce if there's any mistakes from the other drivers around him as well. He can get some good points, can the Mercedes driver, so we'll have to wait and see what can he do in this Grand Prix, in this qualifying as well, but also what can he do next season. I'm sure Chazza will be a candidate there for some big points, I would imagine, so we'll have to wait and see how he fares next season as well. In Season 9, of course, which have put the announcements out on the socials and in the Discord as well for the next stages, what's going to be coming up on ALR in the Discord, in the announcement section. He goes up to P3 there for just Chazza. He is half a second, I would say, off of pole position compared to Geordie's time, that is, but at the moment. But that is only Q1, so there's still time for improvements there. It's his only run as well in qualifying. Speaking of his only run, Troy has invalidated on his first run in qualifying. He only has time to get himself back round. Does he have enough fuel is the other question, though. It looks like at the moment. No fuel light flashing just yet for the AlphaTauri, but here comes the other AlphaTauri of Vintage with his nice pink helmet coming round under the hotel section. Can he improve on 25.651? Let's have a look and see. Can he get himself up into P13 or P12 or further up the order? Let's have a look now as he crosses the line. It's P10, and fantastic time indeed there from Vintage, up into the top 10 from the AlphaTauri driver. Great stuff indeed there from Vintage. Very much safe and sound now in qualifying 2, and he could be a candidate for getting through into qualifying 3 as well with that sort of time. Good stuff indeed there from the AlphaTauri reserve tonight. As I said, wish I could have made it as well. Yeah, hopefully next season we'll see Equaz there taking to the track in style as well there for season 9. So looking forward to seeing Equaz, of course. He's put on a great show indeed in silver. Same for Nigel and Fangio as well. All 3 of them getting promoted to the gold division next season. So there we go. Kamara, you're not sure you want a gold seat, says Equaz as well. So of course Kamara there in P8 at the moment, looking good indeed. Here comes Troy though. Can Troy get himself further up the order? He needs to get himself further up the order if he wants to get himself into Q2. At the moment he is a casualty of the qualifying. Chazza is retired in the pit lane. He's done and dusted. German is on track as well. We'll have a look at seeing what German's up to. Because he's next across the finish line, up to the line he is, and he's done. Well, he's just about beating his time there, but he stays P7 for the time being. Vintage and Nigel, I think, are on track as well. But here comes Troy. He needs to make sure he gets a valid lap time in this time. The fuel light is now flashing there on the AlphaTauri. He's going around the penultimate corner into the final corner as well, making sure he don't go too wide because otherwise he will invalidate as well. But up to the line, it's a 24-1. Puts himself P5, which is good enough to get himself through. Vintage coming back to the pit lane. Nigel has abandoned his time. There's P12, there is the Williams driver, but he's done and dusted. He's through to Q2, and that is that. Serious Mushroom said, obviously not me, says Equaz. Then Equaz. I don't think Serious Mushroom there, you're not a candidate for gold at the moment because you haven't set a lap time, unfortunately. To be fair, I'm not saying the same of Indigo, but because we've seen the pace of Indigo before, but yeah, hopefully Indigo can get himself sorted for the race itself. He is not going to be taking part in qualifying 2 or 3, of course, but there we go then. Troy wants to start at the back with me so he can take a picture with me, says Serious Mushroom as well. Yeah, I'm not sure that was the case either. Unfortunately, Troy has set a lap time. We're just waiting for Vintage to get himself rolled away into the carriage. And that was our Q1 done and dusted here in Abu Dhabi there for the final time. Qualifying 1 has been completed for the final time in in gold season 8 that is. Obviously commentating on silver usually, and that is why I've said that. But there we go then, the pole time, the best time I should say, because it's not the qualifying done and dusted just yet, of course. The best time is a 23.666, sign of the devil there of Geordie Boxtel on pole position. We've got Lucas Percy in P2, Chazza in P3, Mr. Rage in P4, and Troy there in P5. We'll go down to the back of the order because unfortunately we've lost Indigo, Serious Mushroom and Swanshanks from this qualifying 1 session. Brooksy in P15 there, just about made it through. Well, he didn't just about make it through, he made it through by about 3.5 seconds there, to be fair. Pink Eye there in P14, Siege P13, Nigel in P12, Vintage in P11. Right then, we've got the chat for pole position for Chazza for Serious Mushroom, and Equaz is going for Geordie Boxtel. So that is the predictions so far in the comment section. Of course, feel free to put your predictions in. We will find out, of course, in about 25 minutes time, something like that. Good stuff indeed. Right then, both the Aston Martins are through. Both the what else is through? Both the Mercedes are through, and both the no, we've got a Vintage retiring in the pit lane there. That is a bit of an odd one there for Vintage. He doesn't want to take part in qualifying 2, unfortunately. He was in P10 in qualifying 1, so that is a bit of an odd one there because he looked like he could get a good time on the board there in the AlphaTauri, but unfortunately not in this one. Like I said, 15 minutes of qualifying 2 to be sorting out the rest of the order. Unfortunately, that will probably mean that Vintage is down in P15 at the start of this grid, or start of this race, I should say. So there we go. Pink Eye sandbagging, says Serious Mushroom. I think he might be a little bit. Out of the pit lane goes the Aston Martin pair. So it looks like Brooksy is leading the way there around the new hairpin. Of course, it was previously that chicane that you can see there on the left-hand side, but it's been removed and replaced. So it's now a much more faster and flowing corner, flowing circuit. And we saw, of course, the 2021 championship decided there pretty much on the final lap there, where we saw Verstappen overtake Hamilton there on the soft compound tyres. Soft compound tyres there for the Aston Serious Mushroom said the vintage is nodded off. I think that might be the reason. Then he's lost his. He's off. Maybe he's got one of those neck pillows there sitting in his car. They're just very comfortable at the moment in that cockpit. So there we go then. Good stuff indeed. I want Aston on pole, says Equaz there. He's looking to get a Brooksy or a Lucas Percy on pole position. So that is his prediction there for this race tonight. I think Equaz, to be fair, you can probably join if you want to. There's probably a space. But you'll have to clear that with Smithy or Farf, who are in charge of the lobby tonight. So there we go. Yellow flags as the Aston Martin of Lucas Percy is going slowly, but here comes Brooksy now to start his first flying lap, and the first flying lap of the qualifying 2 session. Lots of yellow flags. There's a few drivers they're just slowing down as they start off their or finish off their out laps and start off their flying laps as well. Brooksy now coming down towards turn 5. And can he make himself up, get himself up into P10? Can he get himself into Q3 as well? That would be good qualifying, I would imagine, for Brooksy. Let's have a look now as he comes down the back straight there with DRS open as well. And now heavy braking zone into the chicane and making sure you get the turning angle right, and then going through into the second phase. Trying to lose the back end there was the Aston Martin, but he's managed to regain control. And now the second DRS zone down towards the end of Sector 2, the beginning of Sector 3 as well. I thought that was a new comment there, but unfortunately not. Yellow purple once again, of course, the first time to be set here in Q2. As it goes round now, the new banked curve there of the final part of Sector 2 there into Sector 3 under the hotel once again for the second time there in this qualifying session. And now let's see what he can do there in the Aston Martin. He's lost the car. Unfortunately, that's exactly the same thing as we saw a certain Nicholas Latifi do, although he went into the wall there. He's in neutral gear as well. He needs to sort himself out because he's in the wrong position. But there we go. Lucas Percy, his teammate, there comes round now to finish off his first flying lap. Let's have a look and see what he can do there. Up to the line, it's 24.4. That is slower than his time in Q1, unfortunately. So I'm not quite sure if there's just a track evolution or track devolution, if you can say that. But potentially there is something going wrong with the track. There is a 24.391 for Mr. Rage, puts himself on the top step as it stands ahead of both the Aston Martins. Lucas Percy's off the circuit, and German has gone faster still with a 23.7. Good stuff indeed from German. Sam Green is back in the pits. He's abandoned his lap time. DJ still in the pit lane, so is Nigel. Pink Eye is coming around the corner. Let's have a look and see what Kamara Racer can do. He's in the pit lane as well, so he's called it a day there as well. So let's have a look and see what Siege can do as he just starts his second flying lap. Actually, he's just trying again. Here is Siege. Let's have a look and now see what the Immortal can do. Of course, Immortal is very quick indeed, and up to the line it's a 23.567, and that is good enough for the top step as it stands in this qualifying 2 session. That could be comfortable indeed as well, I would imagine, if the cut-off point is going to be the 24 zeros, roughly around that sort of mark. We've got a yellow flag there for a Ferrari of Pink Eye, who is once again off the circuit in the hotel section, or having a problem with the hotel section. He's got himself underway finally, which is good news indeed. Brooksy off the circuit again. He's not having a great time there in Sector 3. Let's have a look and see who's going to be next across the line. Sam Green is trundling down the pit lane to finish off his next lap. Lucas Percy, unfortunately, has invalidated the same for Mr. Rage as well. I think they're coming back to the pit lane now after finishing off their first flying laps in Q2. Ferrari of Gernman as well coming through just to finish off the lap 2. As problems there for now. If it's for Ferrari of Pink Eye, there's having an issue at the at the exit of turn 3 and 4 there. He's having a problem there. His Pink Eye, not quite sure what's happened there too. The Ferrari, hopefully he's alright to get himself back to the pits at least. Siege coming around now to finish off his second attempt here, this second flying lap here in Abu Dhabi, as he comes round the final corner now to finish off the lap. It's a 24.8 there, but he improves by quite a bit, but he doesn't improve enough to displace any of the drivers ahead of him, unfortunately. Some fast times coming in now, says Serious Mushroom as well. Yeah, imagine some of the drivers are just getting their eyes in now and looking to set some quick times indeed as we start off the qualifying 2. And of course, it's going to be even faster in qualifying 3. The fastest the cars will be in this session at all, in the race as well. That counts, includes the race, I should say. But of course, the fastest the drivers that will be in Q3 in under 9 minutes time then. But here, Pink Eye first needs to try and get himself through into Q3. That is, you have to be in the top 10 to get through to Q3. And of course, there'll be 5 drivers that will miss out there in this session as well, unfortunately for them. But nonetheless, we're on track now. We'll have a look. There's Pink Eye just about to start his lap. Green is just starting his lap as well. We'll come back to them, as well as Geordie Boxtel is coming through into the chicane in Sector 2. And let's have always. He's gone off wide. There has the McLaren. That might cost him. He's not invalidated though. He might be able to carry on. I'm not quite sure if he will want to. He would have lost a lot of time there going wide through that chicane there. Unfortunately, the runner-up of this season as well. He had a good battle through the season with Troy. They're trying to get the top spot, but unfortunately, he lost out in China last week. And that has cost him the championship there. Troy wrapped up the championship, the Drivers' Championship, that is, in the Shanghai International Circuit, or at the Shanghai International Circuit, of course. But I don't think that is and Siege is retired in the pit lane there, so he's not going to be able to improve any more on his time. Siege net is done and dusted there in Q2. Will that be enough to keep him through? I'm not quite sure. Geordie is back in the pit lane. He's abandoned his lap time here, unfortunately for him. Nigel's on an outlap there coming through. Sam Green is not, though. He's coming through the banked turn there of Sector 3. Now coming up to the hotel section. Now making sure that Williams is going to get out of the way of him, because, of course, he's on a flying lap. Here is the Red Bull. Let's have a look and see what he can do. Hopefully Nigel is aware that this Red Bull is coming at him at a lot of pace as he comes round the couple of last couple of corners as well. He does get out of the way, does Nigel. Good stuff indeed. And now into the last couple of corners for the Red Bull once again. Car number 8 for Sam Green, and up to the line it's going to be a 25.0 there. That is puts himself P6 there, but again I'm not quite sure if the track is just getting worse, as here comes Pink Eye there up into P7 there, 26.8 there for the Ferrari. I'm not sure if the track has got worse or there's some sort of issues with the conditions out there, but it seems like the time's not improving too much as well. Kamara Racer puts himself up into P6 there with a 24.8. Good stuff indeed from Kamara in the Alfa Romeo, looking good indeed, as Troy there improves to 24.4. Again, P5 for Troy, as we saw in Q1 as well. If Boxdale was here last week, it would have been such a finale. It would have done indeed. I'm sure it would. Unfortunately, hopefully it would. Probably wouldn't have been with me commentating. But yeah, like I said, hopefully Sean could have changed his plans there and been able to take part in that one. Mr. Rage is coming down the back straight, just trying to get past the Ferrari there of Pink Eye, who was slightly in his way there. Hopefully got him out of the way in time, and now down to the next on the next DRS straight down towards Sector 3 again, to finish off the lap once again. Of course, I think he's probably based on the times that everyone else is doing. I think he's probably safe there with 24.3, to be honest, which I wouldn't have said at the end of Q1. But nonetheless, he seems to be okay at this stage of the qualifying. He's looking to go even faster, though. It is Mr. Rage there in the Haas, and looking to really impress his teammate there and his team boss Gunther Steiner. He's looking to impress his teammate of Serious Mushroom there, but his team boss is Gunther Steiner as well, because of course he wants to impress both of them. Nigel there improves to 24.3. That's more representative there from Nigel. I think good stuff indeed from him. Up to the line for Mr. Rage. Can he improve? He's up to a 23 now, into the 23s now, as I say. 23.945 for Mr. Rage. Good improvement there from the Haas driver as well. So those two really putting their paces on now. Unfortunately, some of the other drivers haven't got the memo, I don't think, as Kamara's back in the pit lane there. Troy's coming back to the pits as well. And let's have a look and see what DJ's up to in the Williams there, coming through Sector 3 now as well. We've got Slow Williams there going through Sector 2 now, but it is Nigel there coming back to on his in lap. But here comes DJ there. He's on a flying lap here indeed, isn't he? And making sure he doesn't copy his GoTV idols and do what GoTV once did there back in 2021. But he didn't do that. He managed to keep it out on the track as well. Good stuff indeed. And up to the line, it's indeed a 24.265. Puts himself P4 and just ahead of his teammate there as well in the Williams. So Williams looking good indeed in this qualifying at least. Good stuff indeed from both the Williams drivers. Chazza is on a lap as well. I think he's the only driver out on track who is on an active hot lap at the moment. So we'll stay on board with the Mercedes driver, as we've got yellow flags there in Sector 3 now. And hopefully it's just some people just trying to get out of the way or trying to get themselves back to the pit lane there on their in laps. Here comes Chazza now down the back straight as well. DRS now activated on the money for the Mercedes. Here's Choczilla. Who's that? Choczilla is insured, right? Yeah, he's I don't know what he's doing, to be fair, but he's away. He said he's away. He's not telling me why, but hopefully he will commentate on Silver tomorrow night, indeed, for the final race of the Silver season as well. But there we go, Chazza there onto the track now in P14. and is looking to get themselves down in, or get a time on the board, I should say. They're trying to get me words out there, but yeah, trying to get a time on the board there for Chazza. It's the first time on the board as well, as Mr. Edge is retired in the pit lane. I think he's happy with his time there. He should be happy with his time there as well. I think that's enough to get through into Q3, as now Chazza negotiates the final couple of corners of Sector 3 as well, making sure he keeps control of the car, and he can get himself across the line there without invalidating as well. We've seen a few invalidations through this sector as well on the last couple of corners, but Chazza there has negotiated it very nicely indeed, and up into P3 as well, looking good indeed there for Chazza. Look at that, a 23.883 there, puts himself nicely up into P3 for the time being as well. Great stuff indeed from Chazza. So that is a very good lap, if I do say so myself. But up to P2 goes Geordie of the 23.619. He doesn't get the top step, unfortunately. AC Immortal's got hold of that for the time being, in Q2 that is. But of course, a great stuff indeed, enough to get through into Q3 for Geordie Boxdale there. Good stuff from the McLaren driver as well. Lovely stuff. Very good. Williams having problems. I think. Well, I'm not sure if you're talking about the real race or this race. To be fair, it looks like Williams doing fine in this one. In the Monaco Grand Prix, it seemed like they had a few problems all over the place, didn't they, Williams? It seemed like the tyre wear was a bit of a problem for both of the drivers, and it seemed like Logan Sargent decided just to be a bit of a blockade in some stages of the Grand Prix around Monaco today. But there we go. Tonight will be a bit different story there for Williams. They'll be looking to get some good points, it looks like, with DJ there and Nigel there up in P6 and 7 as it stands. Troy is back out on track, same for, well, not for Lucas Percy. Kamara is back out on track as well. Let's have a look and see what he can do. It looks like Pink Eyes are just starting off a lap, but we're right on board with Kamara there, who's the next to cross the line in anger. And we'll have a look and see what the Alfa Romeo can do. Can he get himself up into the top 10? He's not far off Siege's time, but he is about 4 tenths or almost 5 tenths off of Troy's current time there in P9. So it'll be a bit of a we need to do a good lap indeed there for the Alfa Romeo to get himself comfortably through into Q3. He could get himself into Q3 if he just improves by a few milliseconds here and there. Geordie Boxdale's done and dusted. Same for Chazza as well in the pit lane. There they are. So that is them done and dusted here in qualifying. Up to the line for Kamara Racer. What can he do? Can he get himself into Q3 for his first appearance here in gold as he rounds the final corner now up to the line for the Alfa Romeo, and it is P8 there. It's a 24.401, 1,000th of a second ahead of Lucas Percy, who's now on an outlap, and Troy is 7,000th of a second behind. But here comes Troy there to start his next flying lap. He's got time. He's got a minute left on the board, unless that's different on their screen, but that's what I've got on my screen, unfortunately. Kamara Racer has got himself done and dusted. I think that's his qualifying done and dusted as well in this qualifying 2. Will it be enough to get him through into qualifying 3, though? We'll have to wait and see. The big names are out on track now. Lucas Percy and Troy, Pink Eye and Sam Green are on track as well. Brooksy as well is on track as well in the Aston Martin, looking to get himself through into Q3 as well. We'll have to wait and see if he can muster up the effort there and improve. He's got a 39.8 there, so he can improve, I'm sure. We've seen him improve. We've seen him do a better time there in Q1, so we'll have to wait and see if he can get himself through. Yellow flags there. What is that? What's going on there? It's an Aston Martin driving through of Lucas Percy there, and the same for Nigel as well. Nigel's gone through past past Pink Eye there. I think Pink Eye's having a bit of a problem there. He seems to be having problems all the time, to be fair, on through through Sector 3 does the Ferrari driver. Nonetheless, he's got himself underway. Same for Lucas Percy and Nigel as well. Nigel, I think, is going again on a second attempt here. So let's have a look and see what the Williams can do as well. Qualifying is done and dusted. That is the checkered flag. So anybody who crosses the line now will be done and dusted as well. I think that's Kamara Racer's qualifying finished, as he can't get to the line again to start another lap there. So he's into the pit lane. Unfortunately for Kamara Racer, that's him done and dusted. Troy has invalidated his time. Bad news for Troy. That could be him out of qualifying after this checkered flag has fallen, because the likes of Sam Green is improving behind him. Pink Eye's going to try and improve. Brooksy's going to try and improve as well as we finish off his lap here as he comes around the final couple of corners here. Up to the line for Brooksy. What can he do here in the Aston Martin? It's close indeed. It's going to be close indeed, I think, but it's up to the line. It's not good enough for P10. Unfortunately, he's 24.7 there, puts him P11 for the time being. Troy is retired in the pit lane. Here comes Sam Green around the final corner as well. Can Sam Green knock Troy out of qualifying 3? He can, I think. He's up to the line, and it's P8, P6 for Sam Green there. Troy out of qualifying 3. Here comes Lucas Percy as well, but it's Lucas Percy next to cross the line, I should say. Around the final couple of corners, he's through as well if Pink Eye can't improve, but he doesn't want to risk that just yet. I think he wants to try and get himself a lap time on the board here. Just Lucas Percy close to the line. It's going to be up to the line now for the Aston Martin in its pole position, or top position, I should say, because it's Q2. But there we go. Nigel there doesn't improve on his final run. Can Pink Eye knock out Kamara Racer? I don't think he can. I didn't see if he could. I didn't see the classification. Unfortunately, he finishes P14 there. Does Pink Eye, unfortunately. He's going to be out of qualifying as well in Q2, unfortunately. But what a lap time indeed there from Lucas Percy there to get himself onto the top of the order there in qualifying 2. It was only Q2, but it was a fantastic finish there to qualifying, or the second session of qualifying, I should say. Only a tenth of a second in it between Immortal and Lucas Percy. Geordie Boxster in P3, Gurman P4, Chazza in P5, Mr. Rage in P6, Sam Green in P7, DJ and Nigel P8 and 9 in Williams. Kamara Racer gets through into Q3 at the expense of Troye, Brooksy, Siege, Pink Eye and Vintage, who couldn't get themselves out of the bottom 5 there for the shootout of the final position. So fantastic qualifying 2 indeed. Wow, that was pretty good, isn't it? Good stuff. Right, we'll get ourselves underway for a qualifying 3 now. Only 10 drivers, of course, make it through into qualifying 3. Those 10 drivers are ready in the garage now. Of course, the other 10 are having to sit there and bide their time there. But at the moment, it's we're just waiting for the cars to come out. 12 minutes left in the 12 minutes of this qualifying 3 session, and this will be when the cars are the fastest. Like I was saying earlier in qualifying 2, this is the cars at their ultimate pace in this session, in this whole event. And of course, tonight is the last event for ALR Gold Season 8 as we round off the season here in Abu Dhabi. Williams back out on track first. It's DJ who is taking us away for the first time here in qualifying 3. And we'll ride on board with him as well. Percy for Aston Martin says Equaz there for pole position. He's probably supporting that. Aston Martin, of course, racing in the Aston for silver at the moment. In the final races, that is. We've only got one race left of the silver season as well, coming up tomorrow night. But we've got to finish off the gold action first before we get to that one. So there we go. Hopefully Ginger Aid will be taking you through the silver action tomorrow. But I'm not quite sure if it's me or him, but we'll find out nonetheless. Troy, you can go to the toilet now, says Serious Mushroom. Yes, I can have a nice little toilet break for 10 minutes. So yeah, go and have a rest. If you are going to have a rest and recover there after that very good qualifying 2, to be fair. It was very entertaining indeed, but let's have a look and see if Q3 can be as entertaining as well. We'll ride on board with DJ there as he takes us through the outlap there for the first time, the first driver on track for qualifying 3 as well. But good stuff indeed so far. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold in the rest of the in the next 10 minutes or so. Who's going to be on pole position? Get your predictions into the comment section. Can Kamara Racer get anything better than P9? I would imagine he could as well, to be fair. It depends on how well he can do, but he's done a fantastic job of getting through into Q3. Has Kamara Racer exactly, so fantastic stuff indeed there from the Alfa Romeo driver. DJ there, of course, that gets us underway. The only drivers left in the pits are Nigel and Chazza at the moment. Everybody else is on an outlap as it stands at the moment. But there we go then. We've got a problem for Mr. Rage. Mr. Rage has had an issue there at the exit of the final corner, unfortunately. He's got himself, he's on the track still, but he's got himself out of the way of the Ferrari of Gurman there. But Mr. Rage having a bit of a difficult time there on the start of his first flying lap, unfortunately for him. He's had to, I think, abandon his start there. He might have to go around again and try again. DJ's invalidated, unfortunately, so that's going to be the first driver on track. He's not going to be able to take part in the first lap, that is. We'll go back on board with Gurman, I think, who's the next driver who is behind us there on his first flying lap of qualifying 3. DJ top 10 first time out, love it, says Serious Russian. We know that DJ's got the pace. I know that he's got the pace anyway, so that's why I put him in. So there we go, good stuff indeed. Thankfully for DJ, he's turned up and put on a good show so far in qualifying 3. Let's see what he can do in the rest of the session as well, and in the race itself coming up straight after the qualifying in 9 minutes time. Still going for Chazza though, says Serious Mushroom there in the comments section. So Chazza there for pole position. German there going fastest, of course, in sector 2. Of course, he's the first driver, I think, to set a competitive time on the board. I think the other drivers are coming through, but they have, of course, and Van Laser had a bit of a slow first flying attempt. So there we go then. Round the next final couple of corners, we've got Williams going slowly there in sector 3 as well. Hopefully gets out of the way. But nonetheless, it is German coming up to the line now. Let's have a look and see what the Ferrari driver can do. Can he get himself into the 23s? It could be tight indeed. It's going to be close indeed. It's 23.464. It wasn't close at all. It was very easy and stuff indeed there for German. Good stuff, and a great lap time indeed as well there for the Ferrari driver. Very comfortable indeed. Mr. Age is back in the pit lane, unfortunately, with Mr. Age. Sam Green is coming around and to finish off his lap, the 24.78. But Immortal there in the Mercedes at 23.416 there. That's half a tenth ahead of German as it stands at the moment. Good stuff indeed from him. I thought somebody was spinning there. No, I thought, no, maybe not. Here comes, no, it wasn't Chazza, it was somebody else who's crossing the line. Kamara Racers crossed the line there to go P4 at 24.984 there for the Alfa Romeo. Good stuff indeed from him as well, putting on a good show in qualifying as well. Bloxdale up to the line though at 23.272 for the McLaren driver, and that puts himself comfortably on pole position as it stands at the moment by almost 0.2 of a second. That's fantastic stuff indeed there from McLaren, putting him comfortably there on the top step ahead of the Mercedes of Immortal there, and German in P3 in the Ferrari. So that is looking good indeed. A fantastic lap time indeed there from the McLaren driver. Like a Serious Mushroom was saying in the comment section, it's a shame that he couldn't take part in the 23rd round. The title fight with Troy would have been going down to this race, the finale of the season, but unfortunately not. Chazza crosses the line to go P4 at 23.601 there from the Mercedes driver, puts himself comfortably in P4 on the second row of the grid. DJ up into P5 with a 24.104. He is 6 tenths ahead of Sam Green there in P6. So not too bad. Right in the middle of the pack there, or the middle of the top 10, I should say, for DJ. And there we go then. So yeah, like I was saying, great lap time indeed there from Geordie Boxdale. That is a pole position lap time, or it hasn't finished yet, of course, but a pole position lap time worthy of a champion, but unfortunately not, as I was just mentioning. But there we go, yellow flags for sector 2, but I think it's just lap cars out of the way. Nigel is on track. They're coming down the back straight, his first attempt here in qualifying 3. Let's have a look and see what the Williams driver can do. Car number 36 as well in the Williams. And now down towards the chicane we go, braking heavily there into the left-hander, then making sure you hook up the right-hander, going over that curve at the right place at the right time. And he has done very nicely indeed there. Now DRS on the money once again down towards the end of sector 3, towards the banked turn there. That is the new turn, or the newest turn here in the circuit. Of course, they have remodeled a few of the turns since we were last racing here in ALR, that is. And now round towards the hotel section as well. The Haas of Mr. Rage just getting out of the way there very nicely indeed. And now under the hotel complex we go to finish off the lap here for the Williams driver. Times are insane, says Serious Mushroom there. They are very good times indeed. Of course, Geordie Boxdale is not shy of setting a fast lap time. Same for Immortal and German, to be fair. And Chazza is up there as well. And let's have a look and see what Nigel can do. He's up into P6 there, right behind his teammate once again. 24.295 for Nigel there in the Williams. Good stuff indeed. Now Lucas Percy takes to the track again. Same for Mr. Rage. Both of these drivers had difficulties there on their first attempts. Now Mr. Rage there gets past Nigel, who's just returning the favour now, getting out of the way there of the Haas car coming through. So good stuff indeed. Like I said, the Haas and Mr. Rage and Lucas Percy are the next driver to set their lap times, I think. The likes of Nigel is coming back to the pit lane. Same for everybody else back in the pits as well, apart from Immortal, who's just started an out lap. And I think this is Immortal there coming out to the chicane. Oh, he's going over the chicane completely. There is Immortal, so he's trying to get out of the way majorly there from the Haas of Mr. Rage. But nonetheless, hopefully he doesn't get any issues there impeding the Haas lap time. But should be all good. DJ Goat says far for years ago. Indeed, he is very good and calm in the car as well, and one of the drivers there to just keeps it consistent as well, as we've seen before in I can't remember, I've seen in every league, to be fair. I've seen him in. It's been years since I've done DJ racing in F1 and also in GT7 as well. So yeah, there you go. So good stuff indeed. course, if you're interested in GT7 or Assetto Corsa, there's going to be some off-season races on that on those 2 games. But regardless of that, we don't have to worry about that for now. Here comes Mr. Rage up to the line. Can he get himself into the 23s as well? He can do. It's 23.9. He puts himself ahead of the Williams pair and up into P6. But then Lucas Percy, or Lucas, he was in P5, I should say. But Lucas Percy there has got himself onto the front row. He's only 9,000ths of a second ahead of behind pole position of Geordie Boxtel. That is incredible lap times indeed from both these two on the front row of the grid there. 9,000ths of a second separate the top 2. That is incredible stuff indeed. I think someone just joined, did they? I'm not sure, but never mind, and maybe not. Too many goats, we should sell the milk, says Serious Mushroom. That's a very nice thought indeed. Very visual image that is. But there we go. So good stuff indeed. Right, we've got Kamara Racer back out on track. He's just starting his next lap as well. 3 minutes or 3.5 minutes left of this session as well now. So I think Kamara Racer, this is his last attempt here in qualifying 3. Can he get himself out of the or off the top 10 spot and then get himself further up the order? He's done a fantastic job of getting himself into Q3 regardless. So great stuff indeed to see Kamara Racer taking to the track and doing such a good job there in the Alfa Romeo. But let's have a look and see what can he do here in qualifying 3. Once again, the second attempt here for the Alfa Romeo, down towards the chicane once again, and heavy braking zone, and making sure he gets himself very nailed on that entry to the corner. Very good stuff indeed from Kamara. He's looking great indeed in that Alfa Romeo. AC Immortal goes faster still with a 23.040. That is one hell of a lap time there. That is 2 and a bit tenths ahead of Geordie Boxtel and Lucas Percy, with a fantastic lap time indeed from the Mercedes driver. What a lap that is. I think that's his qualifying wrapped up now. Unfortunately, he can't get another lap time in, but that could be the pole position lap time. We might come back to that one and revisit that, but that is fantastic from Immortal there, with a one hell of a lap, like I was saying. A fantastic lap time from the Mercedes driver. Really good stuff indeed, and that could be pole position wrapped up with still 2 minutes to go here in this qualifying as well. Fantastic stuff indeed from the Mercedes driver. Kamara Racer up to the line. He goes up to P9 there at 24.351 for the Alfa Romeo there. I think that's his qualifying done and dusted, but regardless of what happens, if Sam Green can beat that time, he's done a great job in qualifying 3. Has Kamara Racer. Really impressive stuff there from the Alfa Romeo reserve driver as well. Nigel's out on track there, followed by Sam Green and the Red Bull there. They're getting themselves sorted now as they fly out onto the track. Geordie Boxtel has gone faster still, 23.030, 10,000ths of a second ahead of Immortal there, and that is, I think, I thought that lap time from Immortal couldn't be beaten, but yes it can, and it has been by Geordie Boxtel. What a fantastic lap time that is as well. That is incredible stuff indeed there from the McLaren driver. Both the Mercedes and the McLaren drivers deservedly candidates for pole position here in this Grand Prix so far. But what a qualifying 3 it's been, and what a fantastic bunch of times it's been so far as well. There's still time for Lucas Percy to try and pip him to the post. There's time for German to do the same. Time for Chazer as well. But Chazer, I think, is Chazer just finishing off an out lap here. German is on a flying lap, but I think he's not got much ERS left to play with. He's going to have a problem there, I think, is German. Unfortunately, he's not having a great time out there, I don't think. With the ERS, that is, he's 1.2 seconds down on his previous lap time as well. I think that might be his qualifying done and dusted. DJ's up into P5, 23.555, and that is his qualifying done and dusted as well. Chazer just starting a lap time here, and I think that's it. Yeah, DJ there is just finished now. I think he is. German there, like I said, having problems with his ERS. They're not quite sure if he's got an issue there, but he has improved there to a 23.294. Let's have a look and see. Lucas Percy there is on an out lap as well. I'm not sure if he's got enough time to get back to the start finish straight, has he? As German comes back into the pit lane. Here comes Sam Green coming around the final corner. 80 Mortal retiring in the pit lane as well. Here comes Sam Green up to the line. Can he improve that? He can't improve. He's just started a lap, that's why. He's never mind, ignore me completely. Nigel there has started a lap as well. Yellow flags as Mr. Rage comes up to the line to start another lap too. So there's yellow flags, I think, for the people in the pit lane there. Lucas Percy there just starting another lap also. So he has got to the line in time, has the Aston Martin driver. Good stuff indeed from Lucas Percy. And I think that is, apart from Chazer, who's coming around the final couple of corners as well. DJ, I think, is almost done as well. DJ, I think, is done in this qualifying. But Chazer isn't. Let's have a look and see what the other Mercedes driver can do in the form of Chazer there. Let's have a look and see how well he's going to do, how much he's going to improve by. He's got a 23.601 on the board as it stands there into the final couple of corners there. Almost losing the back end, it looked like, through the hotel section, and now into the penultimate corner and the final corner there, making sure he gets everything right there up to the line. What can he do? Up to the line, it is P5. It's a 23.319 there. DJ's back in the pit lane there. he is done and dusted in qualifying. He's going to be no higher than P6 at this stage, but a good qualifying from him nonetheless. Chazza there in P5 there with a fantastic lap time indeed, but unfortunately he might lose out to the likes of Mr. Rage and the likes of Sam Green, who's coming through now. Let's have a look and see what Sam Green can do here as he comes around the final few corners as well. Can he beat a 708 I should say, into the pit? Oh, Nigel there with a massive crash indeed. Well, you can see him flying around the background there. Sam Green there gets up to P7 there with a fantastic time. That's improved by almost 6/10 of a second. Really good stuff indeed. Almost a second I should say there. 1.6 seconds. Mr. Rage displaces him though down to P7, down to P8 I should say. Mr. Rage up into P7. Lucas Percy is up into pole position for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final round of the season, and that is one hell of a lap time indeed there from the Aston Martin there. Well, like I said, another 10 thousandths of a second ahead of Geordie Boxtel, but he is on pole position here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. What a lap time indeed there for the Aston Martin driver, and Lucas Percy is your pole sitter for this final round of the season. What a race it's going to be, and what a qualifying it has been for all the drivers there, but a fantastic qualifying indeed. A 23.019 for Lucas Percy. He pulled that out of the bag. He needed to get that lap time in. It was the last lap of the qualifying session, and it is the best lap so far, the best lap ever of this qualifying session as well. Great stuff indeed. Blimey, that was one hell of a qualifying. That is amazing stuff indeed there for the Aston Martin driver. McLaren of Geordie Boxtel is only, like I said, 10 thousandths of a second behind. 22 thousandths of a second behind is AC Immortal, so barely anything separating the top three there. Gurman there had a problem on his final lap. He said that the brake marker boards have been taken out, so hopefully they'll be back up for the race. Chazza there in P5, 3/10 behind. DJ there in P6 is 5/10 behind. Same for Mr. Rage in P7. Sam Green in P8 there, and Nigel in P9. Kamara Racer in qualifying 3 for the first time ever in gold as well. Fantastic stuff from him as well in P10 for the start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 10 thousandths Series Russian is 10 thousandths, 22 thousandths separate the top three as well. You could probably fit, I don't know what you could fit with between those times, but yeah, I'll leave that up to your imagination there, to be fair. We are ready to get ourselves going now for the start of this Grand Prix, and ready to get ourselves underway for this one finally, as we get ourselves started now for round 24, the final race of the ALR Gold Gold Season 8, I should say. There we go. There's too many S's in that one. Right then, we got ourselves started now. The drivers, they're sorting out their strategies and everything else. I'll tell you what we should do. We should get this going. Good stuff indeed. Hopefully the race is as close as qualifying to Zervon. I'm sure it will be, of course, as we get ourselves away for the formation lap. Like I was saying, we'll start from the back of the grid. Unfortunately, Markey, they didn't get themselves in the car. Indigo's been disqualified for not taking the start. And Sirius Russian there on the medium compound tyres. Swanshanks on the hard compound tyres in P16. Vintage as well on the hards in P15. And then we've got Pink Eye on the medium compound tyres, in the Ferrari P14. Hards for Siege in P13. Brooksy on the mediums in P12. Same for Troy in P11, just outside the points then. Kamara Racer on the mediums in P10. Just got himself into the top 10 there, did Kamara. Good stuff indeed from him. From P9 all the way up to P2 there is Nigel, Sam Green, Mr. Rage, DJ Death Dragon there, Chazza, Gurman, Immortal, and Geordie Boxtel just under the front row of the grid there by, I just missed out on pole position, to be fair, by 10 thousandths of a second did Geordie Boxtel. All on the hard compound tyres of those drivers there from P9 to P2. Our pole sitter, Lucas Percy, at 23.019 in qualifying 3. Takes the pole position there on the medium compound tyres. Indigo's left the session there, so that's him pretty much done in this race, unfortunately. So there we go then. That'll be him missing out on next season probably as well. But there we go. Unfortunately for him, that is him done and dusted in this race already before we've even started. So that is helpful indeed. We've only got 17 drivers now to take the start lights, but hopefully his car doesn't get in the way of anybody now as well, because that could be more of a problem indeed if that does impact the start of the race. But hopefully not. Fingers crossed it doesn't. Anyway, Lucas Percy there is ready to get ourselves going as well. Geordie Boxdale in P2 on the front row of the grid. These two, once again, we've seen them come together before in gold as they warm up their tyres there round into the start of the grid. We'll get back onto the grid, I should say there. But we've seen them come together there in a few other races in gold, but hopefully not tonight. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it doesn't impact the race, their rivalry once again. But we'll have to wait and see how it unfolds in this Grand Prix. 29 laps around this Abu Dhabi circuit. There's a problem for the Ferrari there in the background as we get ourselves underway for this final time in gold then. But good stuff indeed. Right then, we've got 5 red lights on in Abu Dhabi here for the final race of the Gold Season 8 season. And let's have a look and see when we get ourselves going. We are underway here in Abu Dhabi as we get the red lights off, and off we go into turn 1. Lucas Percy is going to hold on to the lead as he's got ahead of Geordie Boxdale. Immortal there in P3. Gurman there holds on to P4. We'll get the position changes up as well. DJ's up 1 place already ahead of Chazza. Chazza's dropped down the order. He's had a horrible start, has the Mercedes driver. DJ's up 1 place, so is Mr. Rage as well. We're into turn 5. No moves being made in the top order there between Immortal there. Gurman as well staying in P4. DJ up into P5. And like I said, Traz's dropping down the order there. Troy is up 3 places already there. He's battling away with Sam Green as we go onto the back straight there for the first time here in Abu Dhabi there. Down the back straight, Troy and Sam Green battling away. On the inside there is the AlphaTauri though. Let's have a look and see if he can hold on to P8 this time. He's going deep on the brakes. He's almost in the back of Chazza there as there's contact between the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri. Then it's into the chicane once again, and Troy takes the place there ahead of the Red Bull for the time being there. Here comes Chazza trying to battle back ahead of Mr. Rage. Can he get himself through there? No, it's Mr. Rage battling on with DJ actually, I think, into the sector 3 line, and he's up into no, he stays in P6 for the time being. DJ doing a good job there on that start as well. Good stuff indeed down the order there. We've had a few drivers there losing out, unfortunately. Kamal Race is down 2 places. He's lost out from that P10 position there. Pink guy's up 3 places there, up to 11th. And Serious Mushrooms gained 2 places there on Vintage and Swan Shanks down the back of the order there. Lucas Percy out in front. He's on the medium compound tyres. He's looking to get himself a big gap there on the first few laps there to try and, of course, negate the 1 second gap there. The DRS line, DRS detection, I should say, is the 1 second rule. And of course, if he's in that range of Geordie Boxdale, then he will of course get DRS there with the McLaren. But he doesn't want to give that McLaren the advantage, does he? He wants to make sure he gets out that window right now, and he's using the ERS to his advantage to try and get himself that 1 second gap. AC Mortal's dropped out that gap already as well. Gurman's dropped out the gap too. The top 4 are already spreading out there. They're massively spreading out. Here comes Troy down the inside of Chazza into the hairpin once again, and Troy has got the move done up into P7 there ahead of the Mercedes. The Mercedes having a horrible time there on the start of this Grand Prix, dropping back down the order down to P3, or down 3 places I should say. He's dropped down to P8 there from P5. Unfortunately for Chazza there, he's got to get himself cooled down and recovered there, getting his composure regained. But I'm sure he has got that already. He's already a much better driver than I would ever be able to be, unfortunately, there for me. So there we go. Pink Eye's off the circuit, down the back of the order there. Unfortunately for Pink Eye, he's lost out to everybody there. He's down to back to P17. And like I said, thankfully Indigo's car didn't take the start of this Grand Prix. But there we go. Here comes Pink Eye down the inside there of Swan Shanks there into sector 3. He's got the move back there on the Alfa Romeo driver and up into P16. Unfortunately there for the spin, I'm not quite sure what happened to Pink Eye. They will have to come back to that one after the race. Out in the front, the gap is already 1.2 seconds. Yellow flag for Immortal there. He's had a problem there at the exit of the hotel section. He's back underway. No wing damage, it doesn't look like there for the Mercedes. Thankfully that is. I'm not sure how. He's now right in front of his teammate of Chazza there. Will there be some team orders there from Toto to try and get the Mercedes switched around there in this Grand Prix? We'll have to wait and see. DRS now available, but the gap there at the front, 1.3 seconds, so there's not going to be any DRS available for Geordie Boxdale, neither for Gurman, he's 2 seconds behind the McLaren, and neither for DJ, he's 1.8 seconds behind the Ferrari. So unfortunately for DJ, he's now the bottleneck in this queue, as Troy is now up 5 places there in 3 laps. Going deep on the brakes there is Troy. They're going around the outside, or trying to gain some time around the outside. Yellow flags for Pink Eye at the exit of turn 3. He's off the circuit once again. There is the Ferrari, and that's him done and dusted there. He's had a problem there. He's got himself back underway, thankfully. Doesn't look like there's any wing damage there for the Ferrari again, but he's managed to get himself back underway. Here comes Mr. Rage on the Williams of DJ there through the chicane. They're battling side by side. Is there going to be any moves? There's going to be any incidents there through the chicane, but no, not quite. Mr. Rage is through, I think. DJ's lost out to Troy as well on the medium compound tyres. Troy is up into P4 there with a great start indeed. Here comes DJ back down past the Haas driver as well. No DRS there for the Haas as they go onto the back straight, but he's hold on to P5 somehow with a fantastic straight line speed there from the Haas driver, Mr. Rage. Troy up into P4 and now trying to get sight set on the top 3 as well. But a fantastic start indeed from Troy, up 7 places there in 3 laps. Great stuff indeed there from the AlphaTauri driver. DJ there just been overtaken there by Mr. Rage and Troy at the same point, unfortunately for the Williams driver, but now trying to cling onto the back of the Haas there will pull himself along. I think there's a few drivers ahead on the medium compound tyres that will hopefully for DJ's sake, that means that they will pit early as Indigo's joined back, but he's too late now. He's disqualified from the session there, so he's also left the session at the same time, so I'm not quite sure how he did that, but there's that. Pink Eye's had a problem there at the exit of the hotel section as well. He's once again had an issue there. I think this time there might be some wing damage there for the Ferrari, unfortunately. I think that might be it for Pink Eye's race. Yeah, he has got front wing, but he's lost the right end plate there on the Ferrari, unfortunately for Pink Eye. That is him done and dusted in this Grand Prix. He's miles back, and he needs a safety car to get himself back in this one, but he's into the pit lane now to sort out that front wing and get that sorted and replaced there for the Ferrari team. Further up the order, I should say, DJ still trying to put the pressure on the Haas of Mr. Rage, trying to get out the detection point is Troy. He's pushing on hard now. It is the AlphaTauri driver. He's now got 8/10 of a gap there. It's almost out of that 1 second window there for Troy. That's what he needs. He wants to get himself within the DRS range of German ahead. He's 1.3 seconds behind. He's not far off that DRS range for the time being. He needs to try and get himself that 2/10 gap now. It's coming down. Mr. Rage there is trying to cling on to the back of Troy as well to help bring himself along in this Grand Prix. Of course, these two on the hard compound tyres, I should say. Troy is on the medium compound tyres, so he'll be a lot faster at this stage. Yellow flags for Brooksy. Brooksy's had an issue there at the back of the grid there. He's come off worst somewhere down the order. Geordie Boxdale's had a problem as well from P2 on the grid. He's had an issue there in the penultimate corner. He's off the circuit. He's back underway in P10. No damage there for the front wing there as well, which is good news. But unfortunately for Geordie Boxdale, he's had an issue. Then Indigo's left the session again. Yellow flags down the back of the order there. What's that? Who's that? It's Brooksy. I think Brooksy's had an issue. Again there in Sector 3, he's got himself back underway and he's off the circuit, is Brooksy now, as he's gone round at the final corner. Geordie Boxer has got himself past Nigel. He's off the circuit, is Nigel. He's trying to get himself recovered there. He needs to get himself back on the circuit. There's just Nigel, get himself back underway. Brooksy is DNF'd in the pit lane. So that was, unfortunately, not much of a race there from Brooksy. Unfortunately for him, Pink Eye's carrying on though, which is fair play to him at this stage of the Grand Prix. But Troy is up into the podium places now with Boxdale's issue, and up into P3 goes the AlphaTauri. There's a fantastic start to this Grand Prix, only 5 laps in. Yellow flag for Brooksy there. He's in the pits there. He don't know what his car's doing. Hopefully it gets himself sorted. But it looks like he's coming back out of the pit lane, which is even worse. But there we go then. Troy is now within that 1 second window just about of German. Lucas Percy is checking out in the distance here. Look at this. He's a 5.6 second gap there in the lead of this Grand Prix, only 5 laps in. That is fantastic stuff indeed there from Lucas Percy there in the Aston Martin, leading the way with some great pace indeed. Of course, on the medium compound tyres, German's on the hard compound tyres, so of course he's on a slower tyre at this stage of the Grand Prix compared to Lucas Percy. It might come back to German in this race. Yellow flags somewhere else. Yellow flags for Brooksy's car still coming out of the pit lane. Hoping that gets cleared up soon. It has done now. Troy now within 1 second of the Ferrari and P2. German now under pressure there. It's got Mr. Rage following through as well. DJ's in this train. AC Moore trying to regain his composure after losing out those places after a spin. Same for Geordie Boxdale in P9. But in the midst of this, everybody else is just trundling along, having a great time, I think. Blimey, that was one hell of an opening few laps, wasn't it? That was a great start to this session as well. Yellow flags for Nigel at the back of the grid. What's happened to Nigel again? He's had an issue. He's in Sector 3, I think, is Nigel. He's at the final couple of corners there, is Nigel there as well. So I'm not quite sure what's going on for Nigel there. He's having a problem there, and he's got himself back to the pit lane, thankfully, but hopefully he needs to sort out that issue and get himself back underway. Pink Eye there having issues as well, so both those drivers are struggling at the start of this Grand Prix. If there's a safety car, it'll bring them back into this race. Of course, Nigel's pit and quit, unfortunately, so that's him done and dusted in this race as well. I think we're going to have a few pit and quits in this Grand Prix as it's the final race of the season, but of course the licence points will be added on to their race, and of course if there's any penalties, they'll be added on to the next season as well. unfortunately, for the drivers who do pit and quit, or any drivers that, of course, are involved in any incidents, that is as well. Anything like that will be added onto their race time at the end of the first Grand Prix of the season, that is, once that's underway. But there we go. We don't have to worry about that until the new game is out, of course. Here comes Troy now. He's got a gap now to Mr. Rage as well. So there's a bit of a gap now forming between Troy and Mr. Rage that could cause a bit more of a train later on down the order in this session. Nigel's car is coming out of the pit lane there. We've got Lucas Percy, who's miles out in the distance there, 6.9, almost 7 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack, as Immortal picks up a penalty there going through into turn 2. Unfortunately for the Mercedes, the first penalty of the race. There's 3 drivers already out there with only 7 laps completed, and that is that done and dusted then for those 3 drivers there. Unfortunately, Indigo didn't even take the start lights, unfortunately for him. There we go. Here we go down the back straight once again there for Immortal there. Troy there trying to line up a move there for P2. Is he on the Ferrari of German there? German defending there into the chicane, making sure that Troy doesn't have an angle there to get himself through. But now on to the next straight, the second straight. Will there be a move there into sector 3? Troy is very close indeed there on the power, on the ERS as well, getting himself up into P2 there after 7 laps completed, up 9 places there in this start of this Grand Prix. And Lucas Percy now will see him right behind in his mirrors. Serious Mushroom and Kamara Racer switching places, same for Geordie Boxster and Sam Green into the banked turn as well. Pink Eye picking up a penalty as well. Unfortunately for Pink Eye, he's not having a great time out there, but he's still soldering on for the time being. German there in P3 now. He's going to have to slot in behind Troy for the time being. How long those medium compound tyres hold on as well? Will he be able to hold on to the back of that AlphaTauri for enough time there to then for the hard compound tyres to switch on there and take over from the medium compound tyres? We'll have a look at the tyre compounds. The top 2, of course, on the medium compound tyres. Troy there starting in P11. They got himself through the order within 7 laps there, up into P2 as he goes wide there. Does German there? That's not good news there for himself or the Ferrari. But thankfully, no damage there for the underfloor, it doesn't look like. But he can crack on now with the rest of this Grand Prix. Mr. Rage, I can keep calling him Ginger Rage, but Ginger Rage is definitely not this fast. Mr. Rage, they're doing a fantastic job there in P4 after the mistakes there for Immortal and from Geordie Boxer. He's promoted up the order. DJ's clinging onto the back as well here. They're all clinging onto the back of the clinging onto Troy's goat tails, aren't they, at the moment? As it is literally the goat tails there for Troy. But now down towards the chicane once again, looking like AC Immortal trying to duck out the slipstream there of the Williams of DJ there to kind of try and make a mistake there for the Williams. But no such luck there. Of course, DJ is a very cultured and a very experienced racer, and he's not going to bow down to any pressure there from the drivers behind him. Nigel's left the session, unfortunately for Nigel, not having a good race there. He's quit in the pit lane, unfortunately, on the final race of the season. Chazza is soldiering on. Geordie's not been able to catch up to the back of the Mercedes here, as Geordie's going wide there at the exit of the bank turn, and that has let Sam Green back through. Geordie might have a problem here. He's not got any front wing damage as far as I can tell, but maybe he's struggling there with something else there in the McLaren there. A bit of lag there as well. I'm not quite sure if the host is awake and he can sort out his internet connection, but there we go. As Sam Green has now got a 2-second gap there up to P7. He's got quite a lot of work to do to try and get himself back in the range there of the Mercedes, and Geordie is back on his case once again as well. It seems like a few cars are having issues here as well. I'm not sure if it's my lag or if it's somebody else's lag. Fingers crossed it is just me. But if there is any issues with the lobby, hopefully there isn't anyway. Hopefully they can get that sorted. But nonetheless, German is still clinging onto the back of Troy, which is great news indeed for the Ferrari. That's what he needs. He needs to make sure that Troy can't gain too much time on him here in this Grand Prix to get himself as far away as possible. He wants to hold on to that DRS there, does the Ferrari driver. Kamara Race picks up a 3-second penalty. That's not good news for Kamara. He's down into P12. He's only lost 2 places in this race. Penalties there, 3 seconds for Immortal, 3 for Kamara, and 3 for Pink Eye in this order at the moment. Into the chicane we go. Very nice ride on board there with the nose cone of the Ferrari of German. Immortal and DJ switching places there into the chicane as well. And on the exit, Immortal's got through. DJ now in a Mercedes sandwich there as we go down the back straight towards Sector 3. I think he has got DRS there to protect himself from Chazza, but Chazza is really gaining on him here at this stage of the race now. Chazza really going to try and get himself back up into the order where he was, where he started in the race. Of course, started in P5 to Chazza, but had a difficult start. Literally on the first lap, dropped down to P8, didn't he? Did Chazza? He had a really difficult start there in the Mercedes, but now he's getting himself back up to speed. He's got himself back past a few drivers as well, and now trying to get himself after the Williams car as well. Mr. Red showing his improvement again, says far off, and I must say I did call him Ginger Rage earlier on in the stream, so I'll have to apologise to Mr. Rage, of course, not to Ginger Rage. because Ginger Age is appalling at racing. So Mr. Age has done a fantastic job indeed. So yeah, really good stuff indeed from Mr. Age. No lag from me, says Smithy. Good stuff as well. That's helpful. Well, at least it's on my end then. In that case, if I drop out the session, then I can come back, hopefully. But like I said, if it's the host problem, then it's a bit more of an issue, isn't it? So thankfully not. We can crack on with this Grand Prix. 10 laps done and dusted here in Abu Dhabi. There is 19 laps to go. Like I said, Chazza now getting himself past the Williams car of DJ. Can he get himself down the inside there into the chicane? DJ's not going to fight, not going to let him through easily, and DJ keeps hold of the place there with some great defending indeed there ahead of Chazza there. And I think, again, some more issues there with the internet. I'm not quite sure if it was, well, fingers crossed it is me. Anyway, DJ now trying to get himself away from Chazza as well down the back straight. Of course, he's lost out the DRS range now of his teammate there, Chazza's teammate of Immortal at this stage of the race as well. That is bad news indeed for DJ. He might be benefiting actually from dropping back behind Chazza now and using Chazza to pull himself along there. Chazza doing a great job there harvesting some ERS. He's still got half a tank left of ERS. I'm not sure it's a tank really, is it? But he's still got half the battery left of ERS there to use compared to DJ, who's not got much left now to fight with there. He's dropping off the back there of Immortal, unfortunately, at this stage of the race, of course. But like I said, there's only 11 laps done and dusted. We've got yellow flags. It's yellow flags for Geordie Boxtel off the circuit at the back of the order. Unfortunately for Geordie Boxtel, not having a good time there, out there as well, and he's got himself back underway. He's let Siege go through. And the same for Serious Mushroom as well. Geordie Boxtel. Kamara Racers in the pit lane. Yellow flags for Mr. Rage. He's had a problem there at the exit of turn 3, and unfortunately cost himself that P4 position. He's down the order down to P8. Unfortunately for the Haas, he's dropped down the order, which is a big shame indeed. He was running comfortably in P4. Kamara Racers in the pit lane. He's onto hard compound tyres. Could that go to the end of the Grand Prix from here? Is that an indicator that the medium compound tyres might be starting to fall off here at this stage now? Troy has not been able to get himself that gap there to German. Now he's only 3/10 of a second behind is the Ferrari driver. Unfortunately, like I was saying, Mr. Rage there costing himself some big positions there to Sam Green, to Chazza, to DJ and to AC Immortal. He was running comfortably in P4, wasn't he? I'm not quite sure if there was a tap there or if something else happened. Chazza getting himself past DJ as he into sector 3 we go. The Mercedes is now ahead of the Williams there and up into P5, back to P5 for Chazza there, where he started the Grand Prix, of course. But now up into P5. Can he get himself after his teammates? Now a 2-second gap there to his teammate, which is a big gap to fill. Geordie Boxtel is off the circuit again, is he? And he's been passed by Vintage, and I'm not quite sure what's happening to Geordie Boxtel. And yellow flags for Pink Eye. Sorry, Pink Eye's had a problem there at the exit of turn 1. Thankfully, again back underway. Yellow flags as Troy is in the pit lane. Yellow flags everywhere it seems now. Troy calls it a day on the medium compound tyres. He's done 12 laps there on the medium compound tyres. And up to the pit lane he goes there, into the box. He goes on to the hard compounds here for the AlphaTauri. The championship winner as well is Troy, of course, clinching it in the round 23 in China, I should say, last week. Into the pits comes Geordie Boxtel, and he is pit and quit as well. That is him done and dusted in this Grand Prix also. So another pit and quit here. As I was saying there, it seems like they're going to be flooding in this Grand Prix, but unfortunately, like I said, they'll still be added on their licence points. So yeah, if you want to do it, do it. But there you go. German and AC Immortal switching places now. Immortal up into P2 there, regaining that P2 position now. And German has to sit in behind the Mercedes this time as well. He sees the back of the AlphaTauri. As here we go, seeing the back of the Haas as well. That was blimey, that was a great shot indeed from the cameraman there on board the nose cone of the Red Bull here of Sam Green. Now he's going to have to fight back ahead of Mr. Rage. Blimey, I keep getting that wrong. But now, can he get himself through into sector 3? Going to be side by side through here, but Mr. Rage has the inside in the Haas. He's going to hold on to that position. I think it's going to be close indeed. Sam is having to tuck back in, I should say. German, like I said, battling away with AC Immortal there. Couldn't get himself back past the Mercedes, unfortunately, out in the lead. Lucas Percy carries on the medium compound tyres. He's staying out there on the mediums. Pink Eye carries on as well, which is great news. He's almost about to be lapped here by the race leader of Lucas Percy there, but of course Lucas Percy has to pit very soon indeed. He's done 12 laps on the medium compound tyres. He will have to come into the pit soon, which will of course get Pink Eye back onto the lead lap as well. So it's not all done and dusted just yet for Pink Eye. So let's have a look and see if there's a safety car. Of course Pink Eye can stay out and then try and keep the undercut, or not the undercut, try and keep on the lead lap as well. Troy has got himself past his teammate of Vintage. Serious Mushroom is in the pit lane from the medium compound tyres. He's calling it a day there. 13 laps there on the medium compound tyres in the Gunter Steinermobile, and that is enough there for Serious Mushroom to switch onto the hard compound tyres now and get himself back underway. Kamara Racer will get himself ahead, I think. Will he get himself ahead? It'll be close indeed. I think Kamara Racer will get himself ahead of the Haas as well as they go through turn 1 there. Of course, the pit lane exit goes underneath the track there at turn 1 and then over the track at turn 2. It's going to be close indeed between the two of them as well as they come out of the pit lane. Serious rush from there on the hard compound tyres, trying to get them warmed up. Is ahead now of the behind the Alfa Romeo. Of course, trying to get those tyres warmed up as well. Pink Eye picks up another penalty, unfortunately for him. He's behind now the Aston Martin of Lucas Percy. Yeah, but Lucas Percy, of course, like I said, will pit very soon indeed. He will have to get off those medium compound tyres. Troy is going to be close indeed as well if he can get those tyres warmed up. Lucas Percy carries on at this stage of the Grand Prix. He's decided to stay out once again. There 14 laps we have completed so far here in Abu Dhabi as well. Looks like I got disqualified before the race started. I just don't get any luck. Says no, the problem was I think you left the session, Indigo, and that's why you got disqualified. So yeah, that's because you didn't take the formation lap start lights. I don't think it was. That was the reason. You'll be able to watch it back, but I'm not quite sure what happened there. But yeah, I think you disconnected, and you left the session there, and that's why you didn't take the start of the race, and that's why you got disqualified at the start of the Grand Prix as well, which is why you couldn't take part in the race itself. Sorry about that. It was a very long-winded way of explaining it, but there you go. So yeah. But fingers crossed next time you can get yourself back in the session and get yourself racing. We'll of course have to wait until next season, that is. But yeah, there we go. German there is putting the pressure on ALR Immortal there for that P2 position. Like I said, they've still got an 8-second gap between the leader of Lucas Percy. But of course, we do expect Lucas Percy to at some point come in the pit lane. Whether he's going to try and stretch these medium compound tyres to the soft compound tyres later on in the stint, we'll have to wait and see. His Pink Eye is right behind him still. And Pink Eye, I think, has probably got the faster tyre on at the moment. He's on 9 laps on the hard compound tyres, whereas unfortunately for Lucas Percy, his DJ's got himself past Chazza. Chazza had an issue there. Has he into the entrance of Sector 3? He has done, but he's got himself back underway. Mr. Rage picks up a penalty, unfortunately for Mr. Rage. He's under pressure now from Sam Green, and Lucas Percy does enter the pit lane finally. He's done 15 laps there on the medium compound tyres. That's one hell of a stint indeed. Right then, let's see what tyres he's going to go onto. He's going to go on the soft compound tyres, or is he going to go onto the hard compound tyres? It is the hards for the Aston Martin. Of course, German and AC Immortal take their positions through. So does DJ and Chazza. It's going to be close indeed. I think Mr. Age and Sam Green are going to come through. Where will Siege come through, though? He's entering the entering the main straight now, but I think Lucas Percy might be able to get out ahead of Siege there into P7 there for the Aston Martin, which is not a bad stint indeed there. That very long stint indeed on the medium compound tyres was one good one for the Aston Martin team as well. That means that he's now on the hard compound tyres. Once he gets them warmed up, he will be firing on all cylinders there to get back his lead as well. And he might have to battle through a few drivers yet to pit as well. The likes of Sam Green and Mr. Rage there are only 3 seconds up the road there. That is not too far away. Mr. Chazza, Chazza himself is behind DJ at the moment. Here comes Troy past Siege as well down the back straight. Of course, Troy has pit already for for the hard compound tyres. He's now done 3 laps there on the hard compound tyres up into P8 there. Siege yet to pit onto the medium compound tyres just yet. There we go then. The order has been decided so far. Of course, there's pit stops still to be made for the drivers who started on the hard compound tyres. When will they come into the pit lane? We've seen that Lucas Percy can do 14 or 15 laps there on the medium compound tyres. We've only got 14 laps left of the Grand Prix as it stands. So will there be some drivers there to call it a day and call it early onto the medium compound tyres? We might see some activity here from Germany sliding his way into the pit lane. Literally, he is in the pit lane now as well, in P2 there, or from P2 there in the Ferrari. Let's see what he's going to go on to. I think the medium compound tyres will be waiting there for the Ferrari driver. He is onto the medium compound tyres. Good stuff indeed. And where will he come out now compared to his rivals there? Troy might be able to get himself ahead. I think Troy sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as we finish off lap 15, and into P7 it's going to be ahead there of ahead of German, I should say, as he comes out of the pit lane now. Does the Ferrari driver there trying to get himself warmed up on those medium compound tyres? They'll be much easier though to warm up compared to the hard compound tyres, which is good news there for Ferrari and for German. As away he goes now down into the hairpin. He has got, how far away is he? He's about 6 seconds, I should say, or 5.5 seconds behind Troy as it stands, who is 4 and a bit seconds behind Lucas Percy. There's still pit stop activity for the top 5 to come in this Grand Prix. Chazza now putting the pressure on DJ once again as we go down the second back straight, and DRS, there's almost happened there. That was close indeed between DJ and Chazza now into the hairpin, or into the, I suppose you can call it a hairpin as well. Around the outside goes goes Chazza, and he's held the position there fantastically there for the Mercedes driver up into P2. It's technically now a Mercedes 1-2. Of course, there's still people yet to stop as well, including both of the Mercedes as well, so they will drop down the order there once they make their pit stops, compared to the likes of Lucas Percy, Troy and German as well. But it's looking good indeed for Mercedes at this stage. AC Mortal is in the pits, so Chazza, I would not advise him pitting at this stage. He has carried on as well. AC Mortal there from the lead of the Grand Prix carries on in this race. Kamara Racers had an issue that was being passed there by Serious Mushroom. DJ's carried on. Immortal onto the medium compound tyres. Mr. Rage is in the pit lane as well. He's called it a day there on the hard compound tyres as well. So in the bits for the other Haas driver. So that is those two done and dusted there on the strategies they're on. Troy there takes P5. Of course, there's still 3 ahead of him yet to pit as well. So that is looking like P2 there for... as German's off the circuit there, Siege is carried on. I'm not sure if German had an issue there, but he's off the circuit at the exit of turn 1. And Mr. Rage there's dropped behind Vintage, who's carried on there on the hard compound tyres. And Mr. Rage is out in P10, and he's got himself back underway there on the medium compound tyres. Good stuff indeed there for him. Like I said, it's opened up in this race as well. Of course, now the pit stops are starting to happen as well. Only 12 laps or so to go at the end of this one. German's got himself back past Siege there, down the back straight there into the chicane. He's got himself ahead there on the medium compound tyres. Now can he push on and try and get himself into the range of Troy and Lucas Percy for a podium here in this Grand Prix? DJ there is still right behind Chazza there. These two yet to pit as well from the lead of the Grand Prix. There's 2.5 seconds back to Lucas Percy, who has already pit for the hard compound tyres, switching from the medium compound tyres from the start of this Grand Prix. And like I said, the gap is coming down quickly as well, as he got himself past Sam Green, and now Sam, of course, is yet to pit as well. So we'll have to wait and see when that's going to when that is going to change. Vintage has been passed by Mr. Rage. Up into P9 goes the Haas driver. Good stuff indeed. Immortal now is right behind Siege. Siege is going to hold him up through this section as well. Here comes DJ and Chazza into the pit lane there. DJ's picked up a 3-second penalty as well into the pit lane as well. Sam Green follows them in as well. Lucas Percy takes back the lead of the Grand Prix. Troy takes P2. And I think we'll have to wait and see where is German going to come out compared to these drivers as well. German sets the fastest lap on lap 17. That is looking good indeed for the Ferrari driver there on the medium compound tyres. Immortal carries on. He's dropped down to P4 as Immortal. He is 2.3 seconds behind German for the time being. Chazza coming out the pit lane. He's being followed closely by DJ. And Mr. Rage is going to come through as well. Can he get an undercut here? Can Mr. Rage? Can he get himself past either the Williams or the Mercedes? It's going to be close indeed as they come out of the pit lane here. But Mr. Rage has, unfortunately, he's gained some time, but he's not been able to get himself an undercut there. DJ's right behind Chazza, but he's not going to have the DRS, I don't think, down the back straight. So that might be the opportunity for Mr. Rage to get the overtake done and dusted if he can down this back straight now with DRS available. And let's have a look on board with the Haas. He's not going to be able to get himself past, but I think he's not got the straight line speed as into the chicane we go, but the DRS is not powerful enough. Is he going to make a dive there down the inside? It's going to be close indeed, and no move being made. He's going to have to try and switch back here, and he tries to switch back very nicely indeed, and now can he get that move done? I think he can there with the DRS as well, down the back straight. Once again, he's tucked into the slipstream here, and DJ doing a great job of defending here this position. He's done a fantastic race so far. Mr. Rage trying to go around the outside like he did on the previous lap as well. It's going to be close indeed between the Williams and the Haas as well, but they've got themselves still through. It's side by side, still into sector 3. It's close indeed. I think DJ there has to concede. He has conceded that position to the Haas, but fantastic battling between the two of them there through that lap as well. Fantastic stuff indeed. Clip that up, somebody, and put it on the YouTubes. Oh, it is on the YouTubes already. There we go. Good stuff indeed. Lovely stuff from those two drivers there. Now they have to resume their battle because they've only just started it, I think, on the fresh medium compound tyres. Sam Green there on the mediums as well is in P8 there. He slotted himself in there nicely. Serious Rushman up into P9. Good stuff indeed from him. But Siege is right behind now on the medium compound tyres. Kamara Racer there is following behind as well on the hards. And Vintage is pit there for the medium compound tyres. Same for Swanshanks as well. Pink Eye there is catching up there on the hard compound tyres in P14, but he's hoping for a safety car still and waiting for that safety car to come in as well. They're still glitching about on my screen, so I'm not sure if it's so hopefully it is my problem. But fingers crossed it's nothing too serious. 10 laps to go, I should say, now as we finish off lap 19. We'll come to finish off lap 19, I should say. But now into the chicane goes DJ there, trying to get himself back past the Haas of Mr. Rage. Don't know why I keep saying Ginger Rage, it's really annoying me. But there we go. DJ now trying to get himself back past the Haas. Here he goes down to the back straight, down towards sector 3. Can he make the move there down the inside? He's going to make a late lunge. No, he has to stick behind for the time being. No moves being made at this stage of the Grand Prix, but he's going to have a 0.3 of a second gap there through sector 3. Can he make any opportune movements as well? Siege up into P9, gets himself past, I should say, the Master Haas there of Serious Mushroom, who is doing a good job there in P10 now. but let's have a look and see what DJ can do. The gap there coming down between these two. Let's have a look and see up the order there if any other gaps coming down. The gap now between German and Troy is 2.1 seconds there. German is pushing on hard there to try and get himself within the DRS range there of Troy. Of course, Troy on the hards is going to be a bit slower there compared to the medium tyres at this stage of the Grand Prix. The wear will come into play there in the next, or in the latter few laps, of course, of the Grand Prix as well. But at the moment, the medium compound tyres will be much faster than the hards at this stage, I would imagine. Let's have a look and see if DJ can get himself a move in the next phase. We've got yellow flags. Yellow flags for who? It's not for anybody there. It's for Kamara Racer. I think no, Swanshank's had a problem there. He's got himself back underway, thankfully. No issues there for Swanshank's. Good stuff indeed. He can crack on now. Like I was saying, the gap between German and Troy coming down, but the gap between Immortal and German is also coming down as well. And German doesn't want to see the Mercedes in his wing mirrors, does he? He wants to see the AlphaTauri in his wing mirrors very soon instead. But it looks like Immortal there's got the pace there on the Ferrari for the time being. Of course, that will help pull him along later on as well if the overtake is made by Immortal, that is. But the penalties will come back to bite Immortal later on in this Grand Prix when the checkered flag does fall as well. That's the bad news there for Immortal. But here comes DJ Death Dragon. They're trying to go round the outside in sector 3 on the Haas as well. And these two are really fighting tooth and nail for that P6 position there. Sam Green has joined the fray as well in the Red Bull. I think he's joined up to the back of this queue, and these two are now losing time. They've lost a bit of time there to Chazza, unfortunately, but still pushing on there for P6 in this Grand Prix. Looking good indeed at this stage of the race as well. DJ there has done a fantastic job on his first reserve appearance there as well. He's done a great job in getting himself into Q3, and now putting on a great show indeed in the Grand Prix itself. Fantastic stuff from all the drivers who's still going in this one. Unfortunately, there's 8 drivers, not 8 drivers, so there's 4 drivers there who haven't been able to take part, and there's 2 other drivers that didn't even show up, to be fair, so there we go. That's it. DJ now into the queue. Can he get himself past the Haas? He's got the DRS there. You can see the ERS light flashing on the back of that Haas. That means he's not got any battery left to deploy. He's harvesting the energy as much as he can there, but can he get himself enough energy to defend from the Williams behind and the Red Bull behind as well of Sam Green there, that's going to come at him now over the next few laps. Here he comes now down the back straight. He's going to get ever closer and closer to the back of that Haas, but I don't think he's going to run out straight here. Unfortunately, they're into sector 3 we go, and unfortunately has to slot in behind the Haas once again. Does DJ there. Sam Green there is just waiting in the wings now for any mistakes that these two might make, or any positions that he might be able to grab ahead of from a mistake there of the drivers ahead of him. Unfortunately, not so much. I doubt there's going to be many mistakes there for the drivers ahead of him, of course, because we know that the drivers in gold are very much on the money indeed. Kamara picks up a penalty there, unfortunately, for the Alfa Romeo driver. I think that might be him costing himself potentially any points in or any position in the top 10. Yellow flag, it's for Pink Eye off the circuit at turn 3. He's got himself back underway, but he must have had a spin there at the entry to turn 3, unfortunately, for Pink Eye. But a good job again soldiering on in this Grand Prix. But he's now going to be lapped by the Mercedes there of Chazza. Yellow flags again. As Pink Eye's had a problem once again, I think, as Mr. Rage coming around the hairpin now to start off sector 2. And down the back straight once again we go. Here comes DJ with DRS available now once again, but Sam Green is closer to the Williams than he is to the Haas. Let's have a look and see if Sam Green can make a move into the chicane. It's going to be tight indeed as on the brakes we go, but no moves being made, unfortunately, at this stage, that is. Sam Green just doing a good job there, keeping it clean and consistent. Again, one of the most consistent drivers there from Gold in this season of Season 8. And like I said, Season 8 now is drawing to a close. We've only got 7 laps left of the Gold Season 8 session. I think there is definitely some lag going on, because that Red Bull just jumped across the screen for me, and like I said, if it's me, Pink Eye's retired, and that could be a safety car. That is a big crash indeed. It is a safety car now. The safety car has been called out in perfect timing for Troy as he jumped into the pit lane there. Same for German as well. German was about to get himself within that 1 second window, and this is that was one hell of a smash. I'm not quite sure what happened there to Pink Eye. He's off the circuit at the new banked turn, so he must have got. It looks like he's gone wide of that corner. I'm not quite sure how, but there we go. Then into the pits comes Troy onto the soft compound tyres. Same for German, same for Immortal, same for Chazza, I'd imagine. And away we go. And Mr. Rage is in the pits for the softs as well. I'd imagine the same for DJ. Everybody going to go onto the soft compound tyres. Sam Green gone on medium compound tyres. That is interesting from Sam Green and the Rebel team. Maybe didn't have any soft compound tyres left to choose. But we are getting ourselves back underway as soon as possible, it looks like. As, of course, Lucas Percy is the lead car. He is on the hard compound tyres, but he's yet to pit. Of course, he will have to, I'm imagining he will use this opportunity to pit as well before catching up to the safety car queue. So, like I said, we are getting ourselves back underway. Unfortunately, we're going to have a bit of a wait there to get ourselves back underway in this Grand Prix because we've got, like I said, a bit of a gap between Chazza and Immortal, the likes of Siege and Sam Green, and Vintage and Kamara Racer, who are all in the pit lane now as well. At the back of the order there, getting themselves out of the pits now. Lucas Percy, of course, is the race leader. He will take the he will take up the safety car as soon as he catches up to the safety car, that is. But I imagine first he will pit for a set of soft compound tyres to at least get himself onto the faster tyre there at this stage of the Grand Prix. For the final stage of the Grand Prix as well, Swan Track is just leaving the pit lane as Lucas Percy enters the pit lane. So again, it's going to be quite a while for us to get ourselves back underway because we're waiting for all the drivers to catch up to the safety car queue as well. So there we go. But like I was saying, we are into the pits there for Lucas Percy there, onto the soft compound tyres now, and away we go here in for the final time, for the final stint. I think that should be everybody's time in the pits done and dusted now, as still having that problem with the connection there, it seems. But there we go. No, look, should be everybody's pit lane activity, sorry, done and dusted at this Grand Prix now, as Lucas Percy now coming around turn 3, and the safety car will be waiting for him now to pick him up there to start off the safety car queue, and we can get ourselves back underway for this Grand Prix, hopefully sooner rather than later, that is. Let's have a look and see who's going to be next to come around. They're waiting for the likes of Siege there to catch up to the back of the queue as well, and then the likes of Swan Tracks as well. But there we go, then the safety cars caught the race leader. Troy is caught out to the back as well, same for Gurman and Immortal. We're waiting for Chazza and the rest to catch up as well now, so not too long. Hopefully we get ourselves back underway very soon. We've got 5 laps at the end of this lap, 25, 26, 27, 28 and 29. Should we be able to get started at the end of lap 24, but I don't think we will. So we'll be having to wait once again to get ourselves started once again. I think it will be at the end of lap 25, which means we'll have 4 laps of running, potentially. But we'll have to wait and see how quickly the safety car can bunch up the pack and get ourselves restarted in this Grand Prix. But like I said, we're ready to get ourselves going as soon as possible, but I think we're just going to have to wait now for the safety car to punch up the whole pack. Of course, we're not going to be able to let just 4 cars through at this Grand Prix. We're going to have to let everybody through if anybody is lapped, but I don't think they're going to let any lap cars through at all. Nobody is lapped at this stage of the Grand Prix. It doesn't look like anyway. So hopefully we can get ourselves underway there for the rest of this Grand Prix. Driver of the Day nominees. Well, I can't do the Driver of the Day nominees. Hopefully somebody else can do that for us. But yeah, there we go. Safety car is out at the moment. Like I said, we're just waiting for the last few cars to bunch up to the queue and get ourselves back underway, and hopefully we can do that sooner rather than later. Like I said, it's just the Alfa Romeos there to catch up now, I think, and we can get ourselves started, or restarted, sorry, for the final time here, the final time in gold, and the final time on F122 for gold as well in Season 8 there. Looking great indeed to get rid of this game and not have to play it together again. Let me see if I can work out how to do the Driver of the Day nominees with this. Right there, the driver of the day poll is up, so you can vote for your driver of the day. There, a few options are available, so get your votes coming in now into the stream section, or whatever you want to call it. Good stuff indeed. Safety car is finally in this lap, so then Lucas Purcell now will lead us away there for the last time, hopefully, here in Abu Dhabi. So get your votes in now to the comment section now for the driver of the day. Like I said, Lucas Purcell will get the position changes up as well. No, we won't. We'll get the penalties up. No, that's the penalties. We want the position changes. There we go. That's the position changes there. Troy up 9 places, but Lucas Purcell done well to hang on to the lead of this Grand Prix with some awesome pressure indeed there from the drivers there behind him there. But he's now restarting the Grand Prix as we get ourselves away for the last time, like I was saying, hopefully for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here in gold. And here we go then now for 4 laps there for the end of this race now. Troy is going to try and put the pressure on. Can he get the win here? Can Troy? That would be one hell of a Grand Prix indeed for Troy if he can hold on to it. But I think Lucas Purcell will have to say something different about that as well. He will try his best. Will Lucas Purcell? Of course, going purple in the first sector. Of course, they're going to be very quick indeed on these soft compound tyres. These drivers. Of course, there is a couple on the medium compound tyres as well. They will hope that the soft start to drop off as quickly as possible. But at the moment there is no changes to the order as it stands there. AC Immortal trying to duck out the slipstream. We've got the brakes there. I think personally had a bit of a lock up there into the chicane. Unfortunately, he's got himself back and away. He's not lost much time anyway to the AlphaTauri behind. On the soft compound tyres is the top 7 there. Mediums for Sam Green and Siege. Everyone else behind on the softs as well. So at the moment it is looking okay there for the time being for these for the rest of the drivers into the final few turns there of sector 3 there to finish off lap 26 of 29 there. Vintage and Swanshanks switching places as Swanshanks is off the circuit. And oh dear, no, it's Kamara Racer off the circuit there. He's carried on. He's got himself back underway. He went in a bit sideways there, so thankfully not frontways, and didn't lose a wheel or a front wing there. But not quite sure what happened to Kamara Racer there. I thought it was Swanshanks there, but it was not that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Lucas Purcell sets the fastest lap of the race there on lap 26 there for the Aston Martin there. He's out in the lead of the Grand Prix as it stands there, and German once again going wide. I think that might be his third time there, so that might be a 3-second penalty there, adding up to his race time. But unfortunately, he's not. Well, unfortunately for him, he's not been penalised there. But unfortunately for the others, he might not be penalised either. There we go. So anyway, carrying on with this race, 27 laps have been completed now, almost 27, I should say, 28 and a half, 27 and a half, 26 and a half. But we're nearly there. Chazza's dropped off the back of the top 4. That is really bad news indeed for Chazza there. He needs to get himself back within range. He's on for P4 as it stands with the penalty for his teammate Immortal. But of course he needs to stay within that DRS range. He needs to stay within that 3-second range there of his teammate if he wants to get that place as well. And Immortal really pushing on at this stage of the Grand Prix to try and keep himself within the range there of the top 3. And of course when DRS is activated, he will use that DRS to pull himself along as well, getting further away from Chazza, and also potentially negate the 3-second penalty as well that he's accumulated through the Grand Prix as well. So it could be the plan for Immortal. He's 2 seconds back now. Is Chazza there? He's 2.1 seconds back. So Immortal there is really pushing on there at this stage to try and get himself that 3 seconds. As Chazza's off the circuit in the background, he's had a half spin there. Has the Mercedes? He's got himself back underway. Unfortunately, he's not. We've not been able to get himself restarted in the right manner, unfortunately either. So he's off the circuit. Unfortunately, Chazza not having a good time there. Is Chazza, unfortunately, which is bad news indeed for them. So he's just saying how well he was going. He was doing a great job there in P5, on for P4 as well with the penalties for his teammate, and unfortunately he has now dropped down the order there, which is a big shame there for Chazza. Hopefully he can get himself back in the fight onto lap 28, the penultimate lap there of the Grand Prix. And we've got some votes there for driver of the day. Make sure you get your votes in for driver of the day, everybody, because it is very important that you vote for driver of the day, of course. Just so that we can choose the driver of the day, really. So that's it. Now let's have a look and see. Is there going to be any moves now on this lap, on this next lap as well? It's going to be close indeed between the top drivers there. Of course, DRS now activated as well. That's going to help the drivers behind try and pull themselves along there. They're getting closer and closer to Percy as they go down the back straight towards sector 3, but they have to slot in behind. Here comes DJ there on the back of Mr. Rage. Can he get himself through around the outside this time as well? These two have been battling for the whole Grand Prix, it seems, but they've been putting on a great show indeed. And and it's been close racing indeed as well from the two of them. Good stuff from DJ there and Mr. Rage, but DJ there having to slot in behind there. Mr. Sam Green's caught up to the back of them as well now. Sam Green there on the medium compound tyres, and that is potentially, that could be a brilliant strategy call there from Sam Green. Even with the safety car coming out so late, it could potentially work out in his favour if the soft compound tyres start to drop off. We're on to the final lap of the Grand Prix, the final lap of Gold Season 8 as well. This is it. This is the final lap of F122 racing here in Gold, and this could be a fantastic lap off the circuit. Goes German. He's gone very wide. He's off the circuit completely. Is the Ferrari. He's lost out there. He's lost out massively. He's trying to get himself back underway, but he's going to drop down the order. Unfortunately for German, he's really not had a great finish to this season. Unfortunately for the Ferrari driver. He is back underway. He's still in the points pen positions as well, but unfortunately he just had a massive spin there as well. Here comes Sam Green on the back of DJ. It's going to be close indeed between these two as well. Into the chicane we go, and once again there's no changes there down the order. Up the order though, Troy is going to get himself past the Aston Martin for the final time there on the final lap of the season here in Abu Dhabi. It's not as momentous as the 2021 real life season, but it will be a win nonetheless for Troy. But it doesn't look like he's going to have to sit behind. Mr. Rage is now in P4, I should say, but he's 5 seconds behind P3, and he's being pushed around the circuit by DJ. Sam Green as well has joined the battle. Vintage and Swanshank switching places there into the final couple of corners. Vintage now in the points paying positions here as well. Into the final couple of corners as well we go. Looks like Lucas Percy is going to claim the victory here in Abu Dhabi for the final time in Gold Season 8. What a win indeed for Lucas Percy as he crosses the line to take the checkered flag here for round 24, the final race of the season in Gold. And he has won the final Grand Prix of F122 in Gold as well. Fantastic stuff indeed from Lucas Percy to claim the victory there. Troy there in P2 with a great drive indeed from P11 on the grid. German's left the session there. He's finished in P8, but unfortunately for German had a spin there on the final lap. German there. Immortal there in P3, even with the penalty. It didn't matter to Immortal there. He's done a great job in this Grand Prix after having a bit of a spin as well. Bit of an issue there in the first few laps as well. Immortal there is getting himself back in the way. Kamara Racer is trying to get himself across the finish line. Sam Green there in P4. Good result for Sam Green. And then P5 was Siege in the end with the penalties as well. Great stuff indeed there for all the drivers who finished the race. But we'll have to finish it off there as well. Good stuff indeed from everybody then. The pole driver of the day, Troy wins the driver of the day pole. As that is that, they're done and dusted. They're away to the podium celebrations we go for the final time, like I was saying, in Gold. And AC Immortal is on the podium there in P3, but it is Lucas Percy who takes the victory here in Abu Dhabi, round 24 for the longest season ever in ALR, and he has won it in the final race there. Good stuff indeed. Troy, of course, the champion of season 8, is P2 in this race. Great stuff indeed. A great season from Troy as well. His first title in ALR, and great stuff indeed from him as well. Sorry, his second title. He won silver, didn't he? So his first top title in ALR in Gold. And of course he's got the constructors in Gold as well, wrapped up with his teammate in Wesley, but unfortunately Wesley's not going to take the race tonight. But there we go then. There is your classification there for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Lucas Percy in P1, from P1, pole position, the win and the fastest lap. That is the Grand Slam there for Lucas Percy. Great stuff indeed there from the Aston Martin driver. Troy in P2, Immortal in P3, Sam Green in P4, Siege there P5, Mr. Rage in P6, DJ in P7, a good appearance there from DJ as well. German in P8 after that issue on the final lap there. Sirius Russian in P9, Vintage in P10, Swanshanks P11, Chazza in P12, Kamara Racer P13. Unfortunately, retirements for Pinkai, Geordie Boxdale, Nigel Brooksy and Indigo in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And that is that there for Gold Season 8. What a season it's been. Fantastic stuff indeed. And wow, it was a pleasure indeed to take you through that final race. Well, I would have preferred to be racing it, to be honest, but there you go. Good stuff, right? Hopefully we'll get some podium interviews for the top 3 drivers. Then we'll have to wait and see if they're going to be added to the party or not. There we go. I think we've got some people joining us now. Fingers crossed. Let me get my settings sorted to get the interviews underway. Right, I think we've got Lucas Percy who joined us in the comments box, the pole sitter, and of course the Grand Slam champion now of Abu Dhabi as well. How was that race for yourself? You had it everyone covered. It seemed. Was that the same for you in the cockpit?
Yeah, it was a race of mixed emotions, really. I think the first 3 or 4 laps, I was kind of, Boxtail's probably going to win this because he'll have fresh mediums at the end compared to my hards. And then as soon as he spun, it was like, I can chill out now. And then the last 4 laps was just the same again. Oh God, I'm on used soft. I'm not going to be able to battle the guys behind. But thankfully, I managed to have just that little bit of extra pace, and yeah, got the win.
No, you had it under control from my point of view. Anyway, like I said, especially in the final stint as well. I think it was all in the bag there. But no, you got the Grand Slam indeed as well. Were you expecting to get the pole position firstly, and were you expecting to get the fastest lap in that race?
Pole, no, because I'm never really a good qualifier, but as soon as I know I'm up there in the race, I feel good, and I think the race pace is where I'm a lot quicker than most, so I do expect to win sometimes. Today I wasn't really expecting to win, but I had to get lucky with obviously Boxer having a couple spins, so yeah, I had to make my own luck.
Well, it was very close indeed. It was 10 thousandths in qualifying, and it was 22 thousandths back to Immortal as well in P3, from memory that is. So it was very close indeed. And of course, you can't take it away from yourself. You did a fantastic job in qualifying, and again in the race itself as well. So you capped off a good season in the end. I think maybe you're looking to get yourself further up the order in the next season. How are you looking for that one?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame the way the season panned out for myself. I mean, it's been really a season of mixed halves, really. The first, let's say, 8 races, I think I was enjoying the game. I think I was P1 in the championship, and the midway through the season I sort of had a decline, a couple of incidents, and sort of my motivation sort of lacked. And but yeah, the final couple of races, I know obviously the game's dying off, so I thought, well, I might as well just try for a bit. So yeah, I've done a bit more practice for these last couple of races, and I think it's kind of shown. I think I've got 2 wins in the final 2 races, yeah, like I did last season. So it's a good way to end, and hopefully the new game will be a lot better, and we can all enjoy a lot more battles up the front.
Yeah, it seems like it's the case. Based on what we've seen already. So yeah, fingers crossed that'll be the case as well. So yeah, great stuff indeed from yourself this season. Of course, P3 was confirmed quite a while ago, but the trophy is on the way to you somehow. Yeah, well done indeed for this season, and of course, great result from you today as well.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
And I think we got, is it Troy join us as well?
Yep.
Troy, you managed to wake up in time for the session there, and in the end, it wasn't a qualifying that you were proud of, but in the race, it turned itself around.
Yeah, man. I was actually so tired, so I wasn't really surprised that I made those kind of errors in quali. Then I kept out of, or I left the errors out really in the race. Wasn't too many errors or mistakes in the race. I just didn't have enough pace basically to be able to match Percy towards the end. And yeah, the fact that he was on a scrubbed set of soft whilst I was on the fresh set just says it all about my pace today, really. But yeah, overall I'm quite happy, to be honest, considering my quali position was pretty poor. And yeah, I wasn't even expecting second, to be fair, but with Boxall spinning out and Immortal getting a pen and everything, and yeah, Gerben having a pen I think towards the end, and some mistakes there, I managed to grab second, which I'm quite happy about, to be honest, considering the quali position and everything.
Well, like I said, you don't get points in quali, you get points in the race, so it seems like if you get the race pace up like you did, then that doesn't matter, does it? You can start at the back next time. You should have started at the back instead. But no, great race from yourself as well. And obviously when you got onto the soft montage, you just said a bit there, but did you think you might be able to get past Lucas Percy when you switched onto the soft, onto the safety car?
I was a bit optimistic, yeah. You know, like... if you're a driver competing for a championship and you're behind on a slightly fresher compound with a couple of laps to go, it doesn't really matter. Like, you kind of throw away those kind of things with like pace and stuff out of the window. You really go for it. But yeah, today it just wasn't enough, unfortunately, man. I don't really know what's more to say about it. I was just, to be honest, lucky to have that safety car in the first place. And when that safety car came out, I was really like I almost had to stop on track because I wasn't sure if that was going to be a safety car or not. But for me, it was worth to almost stop on track and go for the pits just because I didn't want to, or I was hoping for Percy to get stuck behind the safety car. Then he kind of would have been forced to stay out the last couple of laps as well, or box and end up losing out on a lot of positions. So that was kind of what I was hoping for. But yeah, pace wasn't really there today for the win, and I can't settle for a podium today, to be honest.
Yeah, we saw you dive in there at the very last second, but was the right call in the end. But sum up your season in a few words as well. I mean, you're the champion of gold, season 8. It wasn't the race tonight, but it wasn't the race tonight that you wanted, but it was one hell of a season for yourself.
Yeah, man. Like I said earlier, like this was the this league was probably the championship that I really wanted to win. Like that's the one that I was striving for when starting playing on this game, and finally I've got it. So yeah, I'm just happy to put my name into the history books, and hopefully it's just the beginning, as I said last week to Sean as well.
Good stuff. Well, we'll hopefully see you retain the title. Then that is the promise from Troy. Next season in gold. Then we'll have to wait and see. Of course, the new season will be starting on F1 23 in just over a month's time now. So make sure you pre-order the game and get everything sorted, ready for F1 23, of course. But thanks very much for Troy and Lucas Percy for joining us. I don't think Immortal jumped into the box, unfortunately. So unfortunately, we can't interview him. But nonetheless, a great race from Immortal as well. But of course, we'll be back tomorrow night for Silver Season 5. We'll be finishing off the season in Silver on Monday night. And then, of course, Bronze on Tuesday night as well. We'll be rounding off their season in round 24 also, followed by the 100% League on the Wednesday in Monza, which will be the quickest race of the calendar in Monza, so we can get it done and dusted and get rid of 22. That'll be it for us in ALR on 22. That'll be it, and we'll be cracking on with the mid-season sort of activities and whatnot, and then we'll be cracking on with Season 9 for Gold in July, or the very beginning of July as well. So stay tuned to ALR, plenty more action coming up, and we'll see you soon.